Zendejas brothers, and he just won the job, too. This will be the second game in which he has done all of the kicking. He's 5'8", 185-pound sophomore from Chino, California. The receivers for Nebraska on the kickoff, number 32 is Ken Clark, a sophomore out of Omaha. Richard Bell, a sophomore from Altadena, California. Bell is number 21. And we're ready to go. The second meeting ever between the Cornhuskers and the Sun Devils. Long driving kick way back into the end zone. There'll be no return of this one. Whoa, he had it up, picked up his head like he wanted to come out with it, and almost had to be tackled by one of his teammates. Sledge, Keeler, Young, McCormick. McCormick, 61, a good one. Leitner, Banderas, the tight end for Nebraska. The wide people are Smith and Brinson. Brinson, the wingback. And the backfield, Taylor at quarterback, Micah Heibel, the fullback, and Keith Jones, the speedster, is the I-back. One of the fastest ever for the Cornhuskers at that position. So here's your first snap. Both teams 2-0 on the season. And they start out with a double tight end alignment with Banderas and Milliken both in there. Give it to Keith Jones, and Jones is cut down by Sean Patterson, number 97. A young man who thinks they're going to be an All-American at tackle. He was an All-Conference last year. Defensively, it is Armstrong, Duckins, and Patterson down with Taylor wandering around at the other defensive end. The backers are Johnson and Metcalf. The secondary is an experienced secondary of Parker, Boyd, Jones, and Allen. So Patterson knifing through as he picked the right angle and got him for no gain. Second down and 10. Outside, it is Fitch. And carrying the ball, Henley Hawkins, the wide receiver, as Tom Osborne goes to the playbook early on. He had Henley Hawkins into the game, number 82, a speedster out of Los Angeles, and he almost got outside. The Arizona State contained man out there fell down, and that gave him some acreage.
Well, he fell down, Keith, because of an excellent block by Rod Smith, the wide receiver. You talk about Rod Smith, you talk about punt returns and catching passes. It was an excellent chance to see him block a defensive back in spring for a big play.
Third down and 7 for Nebraska. They're 60% on conversions of third down in their first 2 ball games, and Steve Taylor rolls it and has a look. Pressure is on. He's going the other way, and he's got some help. He's got the first down. He's out of bounds finally up near the 45-yard line. That is exactly what scares John Cooper and his coaching staff to death, because he can make the big play out of a broken play.
Exactly what Larry Marmee yesterday, the defensive coordinator for Arizona State, said we have to do is contain him. As you see, Patterson, 97, had a nice shot at him. Taylor just going to run away from him. Now Taylor breaks the tackle right here to get a first down. Johnson doesn't even get close to him. This is one of the things they have to do to Taylor. Contain him, keep him in the pocket. It's a tough job.
Dana Brinson comes into the ball game at wingback now, bringing a play. Ball is just over the 45. First down for the Cornhuskers, and Taylor comes down the line with it. He's still got it, and he's in trouble. Good penetration by Greg Clark, number 36. And Pat Taylor's out there playing with a sprained ankle and a torn bicep muscle in his arm, but he's out there.
Larry Marmee says he's one of the toughest players we have on the defense and on the entire team. That time you saw Nebraska go to a option, a power style of offense to play before they were in a 4 wide receiver run and shoot style of offense. Very tough to defend this Nebraska offense.
Gained the yard, second down and 9 from the 46. Might have been a penalty flag there. It looked like an Arizona State man bobbed into the neutral zone but got away with it. Give it to Micah Heibel, the fullback. He picks up maybe 2 on that carry up the middle. I will be surprised, Bob Greasy, if even Nebraska runs a whole lot up the middle against Arizona State.
Arizona State does a lot of slanting and a lot of stunning. They know that the first thing they want to do is stop the run. Even though Taylor is a great threat, if they can run, they'll never see Taylor throw because Tom Osborne will run a lot.
Let's call it 3rd and 8 now as they go to yet another offensive set and put Brinson in motion. He's the speedster from Georgia, and Taylor back, straight back. Runs out of room. Watch his dancing feet. He throws it up. It is an incomplete forward pass. The arm was going forward. That would have been an incomplete forward pass regardless. And there's an Arizona State man hurt on the play. It'll be Sapolu Sapolu is on the field, and I think he got a heavy block upside the head.
Good coverage downfield as some pressure is applied to Taylor. He has the ability to move around. It's caught from behind by Sapolu, number 94. And the ball is in there if there's any question at all.
Now they're looking at the knee. That's bad.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That is Jeff Joseph on the field. And right now, Jeff, having come up from his cornerback position, got twisted under the stack and apparently has hurt a knee. The way he reacted to the pain of it. John Croker will have to come in now and punt as Anthony Parker goes back to receive it for Arizona State. Croker averaging 31.2, but John's one of those kind of punters that he'll shank one, he'll put it straight up in the air, but then all of a sudden he'll nail one, and sometimes when you have to have it, and we saw it last year, he'll knock that thing out inside the 5-6 yard line.
And there's more pressure on the punters here today, too, Keith, because of the punt return success of both ball clubs.
Arizona State's going after him. Now they peel out of there to get a couple of blockers downfield. The punt is a dandy by Croker. It's high, and it's long, and it is deep into the end zone, and there is no return. And Arizona State will have the ball now as the Huskers have to punt after picking up a first down. They'll open with Knutson, Kirby, Kalis, Sperling, McDaniel. You might want to watch number 62. He's something to watch. Underwood at tackle. Outside, wide people are Cox, their money man, and Johnson, the flanker. And the backfield, Daniel Ford at quarterback, Channing Williams, the fullback, and Darrell Harris, the tailback. And Harris is quite a darter. He was right at 1,000 yards last year for the Sun Devils and is considered one of the better running backs in the Pac-10 Conference. No score in the ball game here in the first quarter. Knutson's not in there. They come out with 3 wide receivers: Chris Garrett, Tony Johnson, and Aaron Cox. Could it be they're going to come out throwing? No, they give it a ball to Harris, and Harris comes up for 1 yard to the 21-yard line where he is knocked down. It'll be 2nd down and 9. As Bob Greasy told you earlier, Arizona State would love to have a ball control game here. Grind it out with their offense to give their defensive people some time to rest. Knutson, the tight end, is now into the ball game, and he's the fellow who just flexed out and became a wide receiver. Back goes Ford to throw the ball. He gets his pass away, and he hits his man. Pass is caught by Tony Johnson, the junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he's got a first down for Arizona State at the 35, and Mr. Ford threw a bullet, but hold on, there's a penalty flag back from where he threw the ball. And it's against Arizona State.
Well, it's a big completion for the junior, Daniel Ford, starting only his 3rd ball game to complete your first one against a good defense of Nebraska. Throws it right between the linebackers and in front of the defensive back, Hicks. One of the reasons they go to 3 wide receivers, Keith, as we'll get the call right here.
Larry Fisher out of the Big 8 is the referee. Walter Wolf out of the Pac-10 is the umpire. Head linesman Bill Spikesma, he's out of the Big 8. And Fred Gallagher out of the Pac-10 is your line judge. Field judges John Schroeder, Gary Hurst, the side judge, Jim Northcott, the back judge.
Holding, offense, repeat the down.
So the completion is good, all right, but it's wiped out by the holding call.
What I was going to say, Keith, is one of the reasons they'll split out the tight end or go to 3 wide receivers is because by doing that, Ford can then read the coverage a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. They have found by watching the films that Nebraska sometimes will show what their defensive coverage is going to be if they split them out a little wider.
From the 11, it is 2nd down and 19. Now this is Darrell Harris, the tailback. Shakes one, but there's coverage out of the secondary, and Leroy Etienne is the man who really nailed him down. He got the first hit on him. The defensive unit for Nebraska: Broderick Thomas, Goodwin up there at defensive end, Smith, Pete, Jones, they're big, Jamrog at the other defensive end, Welniak and Etienne the linebackers. Secondary for Nebraska lines up this way. In that group, Brian Washington, one of the few freshmen to start at Nebraska, and he's been at that defensive back position for 4 years. It is 3rd down. The ball is at the 17. 3rd and 13 as Ford goes back to throw his second pass. The pass is away. Got a man wide open under the 40. First down at the 42. Man is Tony Johnson. Johnson the target for Ford on his first 2 passes, and that was a dandy. It was right on the money.
This is an excellent throw, a little play-action draw to Ford's right side. Now the 2 wide receivers are left. The outside one goes straight down, and Johnson breaks deep behind him, creating a void in the coverage. 2 excellent throws, 25-yard gain on the play.
Johnson is out. Chris Garrett is in now for Arizona State. They go back to the I formation on first down at their own 42. No score, and the pitch goes to Harris on a sweep right. Gets a break in it and comes off the corner and comes out to about the 49-yard line before Mark Blazek, a junior at Valparaiso, Nebraska, brings him down. The information on this fellow Harris is he sort of lulls you. You don't really expect him to be as really quick as he is, that he's strong.
He's got good speed. They both block for each other. Harris and Williams in the backfield. They are good running backs. Both of them were second-team Pac-10 players last year. The strength of this team are their running backs and their 2 excellent guards.
On second down and 3, Harris is out. Channing Williams, the lone back, going to throw the ball. Little hook pattern to the sidelines, had his man wide open. Chris Garrett, and Ford missed him.
Well, he missed him, is right, Keith. As good as those 2 previous completions were, that was a poor throw, and I'm sure he'd be the first to admit that. Wide open, single coverage, and just overthrew it.
Now he's got to look at third down and 3. 9.5 minutes remaining, first quarter of play. Harris is back in as they split the backs. They got double wide at the bottom of the picture. Ford throwing on third and 3. Throws underneath again. He threw a bad pass. He had his man, and I think probably would have picked up his first down to Darrell Harris, but Ford just simply threw the ball underneath him. And now Arizona State will have to kick it away. But one thing surfaces here, it's got to boost confidence on that Arizona State sideline.
No question. Arizona State won the opening toss, decided to let their defense play first and stop Nebraska's high-powered offense. Their offense did fairly well in the first series. Ford continuing a couple of passes will help him.
High snap to Shoe, a long, low driving kick goes to Rod Smith, and Smith is finally thrown out of bounds up around the 18-19-yard line. It was a 44-yard punt with a 10-yard return, but when the punt is that low, the return man is going to have some room to run. So it's now second possession for the Cornhuskers at 9:18 to go in the first quarter. Speed, have a look at this.
They can make some big plays, and some big plays can happen not only through the air, but also on the ground.
That 4-3-3, that's electronic. You know, that's quick. All right, here goes Nebraska now. The ball from their 18-yard line. First down, no score. Arizona State shows a 5-man front. Keith Jones tries the middle. Not much. He'll give him to about the 21 for 3 yards. Real grass, kind of strange to the hooves of the Huskers.
In the 80s, Keith, Tom Osborne's ball clubs have won 84% of their games, but only 64% of those that were played on grass.
Second down, call it 7. Taylor wants a quick pop, gets it away, pass thrown too high. Good hit over there on Morgan Gregory, but I don't think Morgan could have pulled that one down because it went sailing.
Osborne told us yesterday that he would be playing a lot of players. In fact, the Big 8 rules stipulate that the traveling team only takes 60 players, and he got a variance ruling that he could bring 70 with him because of the heat here in Tempe.
Now the defensive secondary gets a little tight here because they've got to look at the optionability of Taylor on third down and 7. Taylor, gives that ball away to Keith Jones, and Jones bounces to the outside. Dives for his first down. Good second effort by Jones. They had him, but couldn't hold him.
It's the offensive line now. The center, Young, 68. A huge hole in the middle. The thing there that Jones did not do was hit the hole too quickly. He's got all kinds of speeds, as we showed you a little bit earlier, a couple of plays ago. But sometimes if you get there too quick, you just sort of run up the backs of your offensive line.
From the 31, first down for the Huskers. Give it to the fullback, Micah Heibel, and Heibel using his power. He's a big, strong fella, 6'1", 225, a senior, out of Lincoln, who stayed at home, and he picked up a big chunk on that carry, all the way out near the 39. That's about 8 yards. Bernard Jones, 13, and Drew Metcalf, an inside backer, brought him down.
And they're all 38.
The field here is virtually flat. They don't have that much rain. Second down and 2. Huskers going left with it. Penalty flag down. I think somebody left too soon. Taylor was caught. But I'm of the opinion that one of the Huskers left too soon on that play, and Nebraska's going to get 5. At 7 minutes and 39 seconds, Nebraska will come up looking at second down and 7 instead of 2. Oklahoma now finally getting some points. That was a big one in the Southeastern Conference as Tennessee and Auburn finished even, and I wish to goodness we could get some kind of a playoff rule. Louisiana State leading Ohio State. And Miami is playing at Arkansas. They're in Little Rock for that one, I believe. Florida State, Bobby Bowden's bunch, those nose are tough. Second down, 7 for Nebraska. Ball on the 34. Taylor wants to throw it, gets it off, and it is incomplete. The intended receiver, Rod Smith, and the Arizona State defender were shoulder to shoulder on it, and the pass sailed over his head. So Taylor's still looking for his first yards through the air. He had 5 touchdown passes against UCLA in their second game, won by the Huskers at Lincoln.
He's an exciting player, Keith. He can go for 3 or 4 or 5 passes and not make anything complete, and then all of a sudden hit a big play, and it's 6 points.
Looks to throw it, has time, throws underneath, short of the first down. Pass was caught just across the 38 near the 39. And that's going to bring up a 4th down as Dana Brinson, the wingback, came underneath the linebacker. So for the second time, after their second possession, Nebraska is forced to kick. Anthony Parker will go back. Anthony Carter played at yet another region. First kick by Croker today was a 52-yarder into the end zone. His previous high had been 41 yards. Might be a slight breeze from that direction, but not a whole lot of wind down on that field. Hangs it up for Parker at the 23 and down. I mean, he was hit with authority as Richard Bell, a wingback on the hot coverage team, was down to get him. 39-yard punt and no return at 6 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the first quarter. Nebraska, Arizona State, no score. As Arizona State will come up now, first down at their own 23, their second possession of the ball game. No score in the first quarter. Daniel Ford, the quarterback. They've got split backs in the backfield. And they keep the tight end as the man in motion. Ford is back to throw it on first down. Goes down the middle with it. He has a man. The pass is caught by Aaron Cox. And Aaron Cox is out to the 48-yard line. First down, Sun Devils.
Going to go down inside the jam of Hicks and run a square in. The wide receiver on the other side had cleared it out by going deep down the middle. Good catch by Cox.
He's their money man. 26-yard pickup, first down for the Sun Devils. Harris, the tailback, hole on the right side. Good pickup of about 6 yards. A little bit because one of the Huskers gave Daniel Ford a lick as he was following the play.
Look at the play. Arizona State feels as though they can run right at Nebraska. Their offensive line is the second biggest offensive line in the Pac-10, and they outweigh Nebraska every man along that front line.
Second down at about 4.5. Ford has a lot of time. Throws the ball underneath to Knutson, the tight end, and Knutson's going to have a first down for the Sun Devils down near the Nebraska 40-yard line.
Protection from the end zone. Ford looks left the entire way. That may be a problem for him later on in the ball game if he looks left and throws left all the time. You tend to have a lot of defensive players running which way you're looking, but that time Knutson with a nice reception.
First and 10 from the Husker 40. Harris the tailback. And Harris again with a big gain on a first down run as he picks up 8 yards. Broderick Thomas finally brought him down. At 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and the Sun Devils now mounting something of a march as we pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. Darrell Harris, 26 yards on 5 carries for Arizona State. Fullback Channing Williams. Williams tries for the first down at the 30. He's close. Channing Williams, the fullback, 5'11", 215, fifth-year senior out of Sacramento, California. The nose of the ball is touching the 30. It's close enough. They'll bring in the chains, and we'll check other scores around the country. Michigan winning big over Long Beach State. Georgia beating South Carolina. Iowa, Washington State, Colorado first quarter. Buffalo's leading 3-0, and they are just short of the first down. Indiana has come back to tie Missouri, and Northern Illinois leading with Wisconsin leading Ball State. Wisconsin had one getaway against Utah in the late seconds of the game last week. They need about 6 inches for their first down.
Don Morton, the new head coach in Wisconsin, is going to bring that team back. Keith, I was very impressed meeting him at the Big Ten luncheon in Chicago a few months ago.
He succeeded John Cooper when John left Tulsa to come here to take this job. Pair of fullbacks in there now. Channing Williams figures to get it if the quarterback doesn't sneak it. The quarterback does sneak it, and now it depends on the mark because when Daniel Ford leaned forward, that was fine. He had it. But then all of a sudden the wall fell on him, and he wound up coming back the other way. But they give him the mark and the first down. Florida State rolling over Michigan State. The Bobby Bowden Seminoles looking tougher and tougher.
And he's a smart coach. Bobby Bowden does what he has to do. He can throw it and he can run it.
First down, Sun Devils passing on first down. Time again for Ford. Goes down the middle into the end zone, and the pass is intercepted. That was a bad pass. He intended to pass for Aaron Cox. Mark Blazek dropped straight back into the end zone and made the catch. It was nowhere near the intended receiver. It was just simply a bad pass.
It's a good call, Keith. Blazek is here. Cox is here. He's going to run down a deep post. Blazek is just going to run back to the deep middle. If Ford was looking down the middle of the field, which he should have been, Blazek is right there as Cox makes a nice move on the corner. But where the man is going, the ball is not there, and it was intercepted.
So we saw last week in Mike Powers' instance, we're seeing today lack of vision by quarterbacks. Steve Taylor still got it. Got a blocker in front of him. Take down the blocker, but Taylor's still going and going and going and going, and now he's on the Arizona State side of the field. First down, Cornhuskers near the Sun Devil 47. Jake Young, the center, believe it or not, was the guy who led him down the field.
And you saw him moving his left shoulder there. He injured that shoulder 2 weeks ago against UCLA. He is a passer, but when he gets outside, he likes to run the football. He is They say he's a quarterback, but he could very well be an I-back because he runs that well.
So first down Huskers now at the Arizona State 47. And Taylor hands inside to Heibel, and Heibel is belted after about a 2-yard pickup. And let's check in with Mike Adamle.
Keith, we told you about Jeff Joseph a little bit earlier. They took him into the training room to look at his right knee for a possible cartilage tear. There was none at that point in time, and they diagnosed it as a sprained knee instead. He was in on a nickel situation, so he wasn't a starter. Probably replace him with Floyd Fields, number 24, nickel situation.
All right, Mike, ball is at the 46 of Arizona State. Second down and 8. Taylor keeps it after faking to the fullback, and now he's dancing around. He's tough. They had him absolutely pinned in and trapped, but he got out of there.
It's an outstanding job. Let's give credit to Taylor. Obviously, he made something out of nothing, but also was a good play-action fake. The offensive line was tough into the line of scrimmage. He had good coverage downfield.
Tonight, a blonde bombshell finds true love on Once a Hero. That's what it says here. Then Daryl Hannah, Tom Hanks, and John Candy are involved in the biggest fish story in history, Splash. ABC movie special tonight. Clete Blakeman is in at quarterback now. Steve Taylor leaving the game. He may have dinged that shoulder a little bit, so he's out of there for the moment while they check him. He had 64 yards on 4 carries, and Clete Blakeman is now in the ball game. Keith Jones carried on the last play. Blakeman is the senior out of Norfolk.
Excuse me, Keith. I was just going to say that one of the problems with running your quarterback as much as Steve Taylor runs is that you're only one play away from going to your second-team quarterback, and Tom Osborne was telling me yesterday that Blakeman can play, but he is not a guy that can pick the team up like Taylor can. He needs some support to find quarterback.
Taylor is back. They flex the shoulder, seems to be all right, so he's back in the ball game, and he's looking to throw it deep, and he does, and it is incomplete. The pass intended for number 43, Todd Milliken, the tight end, defended by Bernard Jones. That's what Tom Osborne will do with those tight ends. He's got 2 good ones, Banderas and Milliken, and he sent him deep that time.
There's Jones to the right of your screen. Play action fake. They had hoped to pull Jones up. In the films of the previous games of Arizona State, he has come up and made those tackles. They thought they could get something on him. That time Jones was in good shape, and the ball should have not been thrown. There was good coverage on the play.
So it is third down and 8 now. The ball is resting at the Arizona State 32. Huskers are 2 out of 4 on third downs today. Brinson's coming across the middle. Penalty flags on the field as Taylor's running again to the 25. He may be short of his first down, but let's see about the flag. Brinson, I think, took a step up the field before the snap of the ball. He was the man in motion.
John Cooper with that hanky in his pocket almost looks like he's an official and ready to throw a flag at any time.
Those are the towels. You'll see Coop before the day's over.
Illegal motion, offense, repeat the down.
Now wave into the crowd. He'll get that towel out and start waving it. The whole crowd here will start waving it. So the penalty now backs the ball to the 37. It's third down and almost 13. Brinson in motion. Arizona State diving offside. Mark Duckins, who transferred here, he's a senior. He came over from Wichita State when they gave up their football program. And I don't know whether somebody moved up front and enticed him, or he just tried to anticipate, and it's the latter. So Arizona State gives back the 5 yards.
A lot of people can't understand why the man right next to the football can be offsides. I mean, when the ball moves, you move, but the man next to the football is also closest to the quarterback. As you saw Taylor barking out his signals, that is the man you can influence the most, the nose tackle or the nose guard. He is right there, and he catches every inflection of the voice, so it's not surprising that you can pull him off with your voice.
And now it is 3rd down and 8 after the 5-yard penalty. Taylor wants to throw. He's got a man underneath. The pass is complete to the 25. That's short of the first down by a yard. Henley Hawkins, wide receiver. Nathan LeDuc, the man who made the defensive play for Arizona State, is a freshman out of Phoenix. They think he's going to be a dandy, and he played that one well.
They were hoping not to have to play him. They were undecided. John Cooper was saying he is an outstanding true freshman. In fact, he almost went to Nebraska. In fact, instead came to Arizona State. But what they wanted him was at Nebraska to come there. And he says, well, I'm going to the Valley of the Sun.
4th and 1. They're going. Taylor keeps it and has the first down and almost broke it. He moved it all the way down to the 13-yard line. It's 1st down, Nebraska. He faked it to his fullback, and the fullbacks drew the crowd, and Taylor just followed him on through the hole.
Great blocking on the right side. McCormick and Leitner, as Taylor sees a huge hole and then just gets upfield, and then you can't teach the rest of this. This is just athletic ability.
I'll tell you one thing that they better teach him. They better teach him to put the ball away. When you start waving that thing around like that, somebody's going to take a bite out of it. The first quarter is over. There is no score at Tempe. Yeah, there's quite a few folks from Nebraska down for the ball game. Right now, the Huskers with their most serious threat of the ball game. They're first, in fact, as they have it 1st down at the Arizona State 13-yard line. Taylor turns and gives it. And the give, what they're going to give him the second effort? Nope, they had blown him dead at just short of the 8-yard line with Keith Jones. That second effort by Jones is pretty good, isn't it?
No question, a great effort. He's had some problems in the first 2 games of putting the ball on the ground. Some fumbles up ahead as we take a look at Keeler and Sledge on the left side. Nice blocking. Heibel up 48, gets up in front, gets a block. Nice hold, good running. He stopped him right there to do the whistle. This is the area, Keith, they like to go to their tight ends if they're going to throw it.
Picked up almost 5 yards on that 1st down carry. Second man goes by. Taylor keeps it, going back the other way now. And, boy, I'll tell you, they cannot track him. They had him out there and absolutely just couldn't. He got away from Terrence Johnson, the devil back or outside linebacker. It looked like Johnson had him in his sights, and all of a sudden, he was off the limb and gone.
Well, he's not a small man. He's 6 foot 195, so with the way he can move, he is just like a running back. And most of the time he runs, it's obvious, it's going to be a broken field situation. You drop back to pass, everybody backs up, and then he takes off, and he's got the ability to get away from most people.
And he's got a 1st and goal at the Arizona State 2. It's Jones into the middle. No, not quite.
Look at the first quarter statistics. The 1 turnover was the 4th throw by Ford into the end zone. Nebraska with 106 yards rushing, and that's not what Arizona State wanted to do. They wanted to shut down that run. Most of that yardage has come from Taylor.
2nd down and goal from the 1. Taylor, touchdown, Huskers. Steve Taylor ran for 66 yards in a drive that took 12 plays and gobbled up a big hunk of the clock. 13:10 to go in the first half.
Well, it's just what John Cooper said he didn't want to happen. He wanted his offense on the field. But Nebraska is going to score, as we said, the top scoring offense in the country.
The extra point try by Chris Grennan. Cleet Blakeman puts it down. And it's good.
Good.
So Drennan continues perfect in extra point conversions, and the Nebraska Cornhuskers have gone to the lead 7-0. For the deep people for Arizona State, that ball is well back into the end zone. There will be no return of it, and Arizona State will start first down at the 20. Tomorrow, the Ryder Cup golf matches will... Now Arizona State from the 20. Last time they had the ball, they had a threat. Ford threw an interception. Nebraska brought it right back down the field and stuck it in the end zone. And now here's about a 3-yard pickup by Channing Williams, the fullback, to bring up 2nd and 7. Here's Mike for a moment.
Keith, one of the ways you prepare for an option-type quarterback like Steve Taylor is you take the best member of your freshman class, put him on your scout team, and let him do an impersonation of that. They tried sophomore Greg Rice, a tailback, this week. They said he did a good job, but the real thing, obviously, is much better. He's the difference in this ball game.
Ford back to throw on 2nd down. Pursuit from the backside. Pulls it down, put his helmet ahead, and he's going to... Ball comes loose, but he's down. He's going to have a first down. They're going to call him down at the 34, and he took a pretty good lick. I would think the thing you would want to try to defend against Steve Taylor is a Springfield rifle.
Well, Ford shows you right here, he can move around a little bit, too. Not known for his scrambling. Rather, 78 gives him a little pressure. Now when you get up here and the ride is over with, you just want to get down and hold on to the football.
Yeah, he'll learn to get down a little bit quicker, won't he? He's a big fella, 6'2", 209. And from the 34 now, the Sun Devils with the first down. Nebraska leading 7-0, 12 minutes to go in the first half. Ford gives to Harris. Harris bounces outside and comes to the 40. That's a pickup of 6 yards.
And number 20.
Look at number 62 right there, Randall McDaniel, as he just clears a huge gaping hole in the middle of the line. Harris makes a nice move on his own. McDaniel, the leading candidate for the Lombardi Award, symbolic of the best offensive lineman in the country.
Slam dunks the basketball in full football uniform. This is Harris again, trying to go outside, and a great play over there by number 37, Doug Welniak, helped by Tim Rother. Rother was the fellow that stacked up the convoy, and Welniak got him.
Number 37, Doug Welniak.
Outstanding quickness on this Nebraska defense. Everybody can move. They run very well. A lot of speed, a lot of quickness. They lost 7 starters from last year's team, but that doesn't mean a lot at Nebraska because you usually don't play until you're a junior or senior anyway. They've got good backups to replace those players that left.
Loss of about a yard on the play. Might be time for Aaron Cox again on 3rd down and about 6. Ford rolling, goes underneath with it. The pass is caught, but the pass is going to be short of the first down. Chris Garrett pulled it in, but he is a yard shy of the first down.
Chris Garrett. Into the play.
No, they mark him. He got a very favorable mark. I thought he was turned back and was down about the 43, but they give him the absolute progress in that mark.
Well, John Cooper was happy with it, and it's a big first down because Arizona State needs to get some momentum to their side. Take a look at it. He's looking downfield. He had 3 receivers out there. This was the shortest one, Garrett was, and the spot was right there.
That's the old right foot, left foot.
Yes, sir.
He'd have been a left footer, he'd have been short. First down. Sun Devils on their own 44. Huskers leading 7-0. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Darrell Harris. Good block. Got that block from McDaniel, turned it back inside, and he's got a pretty good chunk on that first down run. 7 yards. McDaniel pulled out of the line, number 62, and nailed Randall Jobman.
McDaniel, 62, 3 years ago, was a tight end, a 4th-string tight end. As you see him make a good block there on the linebacker. The 4th-string tight end, and he said, I want to play. He says, we need offensive linemen. He says, you can play quicker there. He says, how quick? He says, how about this week? And he did, and he's been there.
Up the middle goes Harris for the first down. Ball is at the Nebraska 44-yard line with 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. And now the Sun Devils are moving the ball again on the Huskers. There are the baseball scores. The Cardinals are out in front. Detroit now, having lost a couple in a row at Toronto, coming back to lead 8-4 in the fifth. And Minnesota beaten again. They were beaten last night by Kansas City. They're having a little trouble nailing it down. Eddie Grant is in at center now for Arizona State, giving Sperling a breather, and Ford rolls it out to throw. Pass is away. Pass is caught. Good to Tony Johnson. Johnson's third catch of the ball game, and he's got another first down for Arizona State at the Husker 33.
Well, you see out here, you got man-on-man coverage. Nobody else is even close. As Jim Coletto, the offensive coordinator, is trying to put Ford into some situations where he knows where to go with the football. Nothing tough there. One-on-one coverage. Ford now 5 of 8 for 75 yards and an interception.
Fullback. And the big guy, Channing Williams, has a big hole over the left side, and he's down to the Nebraska 22, and that's 11 yards and a first down.
Good mixture here. Good run. He slides to the outside hole. A tackle missed there by Murray. Covers the ball up.
So for the second time in the game, Arizona State has a threat. 7-0 Nebraska. Harris, the tailback, to the 19. That's about 3. Mike Murray, that time with Neil Smith, made the tackle.
The plays are called for Arizona State in the press box by coordinator Jim Coletto and relayed to the field by Mike March there on the left side with the headset on next to John Cooper.
Talk about balanced offense. 75 yards running and passing for Arizona State. 4 first downs in each category. From the 19, give it to Harris. Harris maybe a yard to the 18. They've got to go just inside the 11 for their first down, and Neil Smith, the big senior from New Orleans, made that tackle for the Huskers.
Just an outstanding play by Smith. He is 6'5 and 260 and can run the 40 and 4.6. He is probably, well, they say he is the fastest defensive lineman ever to play at Nebraska. Beside that speed, Keith, he also has a wingspan or arm span of over 7 feet. So he can get close to you, and when he gets there, he can grab you.
It's like running through a forest. It is 3rd and long, 3rd and about 7. Ford. Bad pass. Had his man. And threw a bad pass to Ron Fair. Fair was coming back toward the middle and was wide open. And he missed him. And that's going to get Alan Zendejas into the game. 5'8", 186-pound sophomore out of Chino. He didn't play last year. Hung in with his academics, and now there's conversation between the head coach and the quarterback.
Well, Cooper is telling him that Fair was not the primary receiver. He had time to wait for Cox, who was going deep to the corner, just threw a bad ball too soon.
Nebraska bounces around, trying for the block. The kick is away by Zendejas, and it is good. And Arizona State gets on the board at 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first half. Nebraska 7, Arizona State 3. We're playing someplace where they threw the ball. Ooh-wee, I'll tell you. 36-yard field goal by Alan Zendejas. The Sun Devils had 13 plays in that possession to get on the scoreboard. Now trailing 7-3, he kicks off to Dana Brinson and Ken Clark. 33 and 32, respectively, for the white-shirted Cornhuskers. Well, just like all the others in Zendejas, he gets all of his foot on it. Oh, my gosh, Brinson's coming out with it and gets back to the 15. He was 8 yards deep in the end zone, and he made a poor decision. Now, he's a junior. He's done that a lot. But I guess he's got so much confidence in his special team fellows that he was going to come back regardless.
He is one of the top punt return men in the country. Obviously has a lot of confidence. Never even thought about staying in.
Ooh. I tell you what, if he'd lost his footing at about the 4 or 5 yard line, there'd have been some serious talk on the sideline. He did get back to the 15. Actually ran about 23 to get it back. Ken Clark is now the I-back for Nebraska. And there was contact along the front, but they let it go as Clark runs it out to the 20. At halftime, that's what we'll have for you. And we're now getting to the point where teams are starting to play their conference games. And this is really the last weekend of the major intersectional schedule. From here on, old foes will be button heads pretty much in their conferences around the country. Mike Adamley went out last night to a high school game. We'll give you a look at one of the most highly sought-after youngsters around in high school football this year. Be an interesting feature. Inside, it's the fullback, Micah Heibel, and it's a fight every time he gets the ball, and he's just about fought his way to a first down.
Well, Heibel is the one man in that secondary, that offensive backfield that doesn't have great speed, as Carpenter, number 29, is in there now.
Carpenter carry it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Carpenter is the man that fought for the first down out of the fullback position. Clark stays in at I-back. And it's first down Huskers at their own 25. Taylor keeps it. Give him a lot of room out there, and he will take it. And he dives short of his first down. They've got him marked down at the 34, so they'll need a yard. Those linebackers and corners bite on that play action and gives him a lot of room.
Well, one of the reasons they bite, watch the two linemen on this side. The play will go that way. They'll both pull that way, and Taylor will just keep it. And all these linebackers are going to go with the flow of the guard and tackle and the running back. There's no defense for that. I mean, everything tells you defensively to go with the guards, go with the tackles, and the flow, he just keeps it and goes opposite.
On second down and 1, they pitch it back. The flea flicker's on. Taylor's pass is away. Brinson is out there. He's got it. He's gone. Touchdown, Nebraska. Penalty flag's going to wipe it out. Probably. There's a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage. Six-yard play for the touchdown. And you look back upfield, and there it is. Ineligible man downfield. Somebody left too soon, went too far, and the Huskers lose the TD.
Tom Osborne told us, let's go ahead and run this play.
Ineligible.
Go ahead and run the play right now. We'll see if we can see an offensive lineman downfield. Play action into the line, throws the ball back. Now, stop it right there. Here's your man that's downfield. That's the only one they can call. Here's where the line of scrimmage was, right here. That's a pretty close call, but official was right there on the play.
Well, Taylor, who had such good protection, waited so long to throw that the lineman really didn't know where the ball was.
Yeah, and that was a key play. Osborne had that play set up for the safety. Bernard Jones, a very aggressive player. They got the play, but they were called back because of the penalty.
So it is second down and 6, and it is still 7-3 in Nebraska. And Arizona State is offside. Number 96, Mark Duckins. That's the second time that Duckins has tried to anticipate the snap and been caught.
Tough thing to overcome, Keith, as we get the
Dead
call.
ball, offside, defense, second down.
Sometimes offensively you go into a game and Osborne has a great knack of calling the right play at the right time. Had the play set up, got exactly what he wanted, got the flea flicker. The safety came up to make the play, You only get that opportunity once or twice a ball game.
Now it is second down and 1, and give it to Clark. And Clark has the first down, and he's still going. Finally knocked him out of bounds at the Arizona State 49. Looked like a couple of Sun Devils might have given up on that play instead of forcing the flow on into the chalk. And Clark just kept on pounding.
Clark is the second-team I-back, as Osborne said he was going to play a lot of players. 76 is the backup guard. Nelson, good play by the second-team offensive line and running back for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
5 minutes to play, first half. Taylor still got it. And they finally wrestle him down, but still he gets something out of it. He gets 2 yards. I think that goes back to the point Bob made a while ago that he's a big fellow. He weighs 195 pounds.
But Taylor forces you to slow down defensively. You can't go at him very quickly. You can't try to put too big a hit on him because he is quick enough to dodge all that stuff. The best thing you can do defensively is just play your ground, wait for some help, and let him have 1 or 2 yards, but don't let him get 5, 10, or 15.
Huskers with 160 yards on the ground, 11 through the air so far. And the clock shows 4:20 to go, first half. Ball at the Arizona State 47. Taylor back to throw it. Gets it off. Pass is thrown behind the intended receiver, Todd Milliken, the tight end. Out of junior, out of Shenandoah, Iowa.
One of the problems being a running quarterback is you're going to get knocked around a little bit, and you don't throw the ball so well. That time the ball was deflected. Taylor now 2 of 7 for only 11 yards, but he has rushed for quite a few.
Steve Harvey out of Pasadena, California was the man. They got a hand on that ball for Arizona State. It is third down and a long 7. Pass is caught. And the pass is good for a first down to Dana Brinson inside the 40 at the 37 of Arizona State.
4 wide receivers in for Nebraska. A lot of targets to throw to, a lot of speed, a lot of ability. It's amazing how Osborne can move his people around. He's got the power game, the finesse game, throw the ball deep. They get all the publicity because of the running. They can throw the ball downfield.
The second unit, second offensive line is in the ball game right now for Nebraska, and this is the fullback, Brian Carpenter, a 200-pound junior out of Olathe, Kansas, carrying, and he again gets big yardage on the first down run. Ball marked at the 32. That's good for about 5.
Well, John Cooper said he wanted to see him trying to get his team going. Wanted a low-scoring game. He said we can't have a shootout. We can't stay up with Nebraska if they're going to score 35 or 40 points. And he's right where he wants to be, nearing the conclusion of the first half.
Carrying the ball, Clark. And the sophomore from Omaha, banging over the right side, held a couple of yards short of his first down. That second unit line, Doug Glazer, John Nelson, John Nichols, and Bill Babora. And Kevin Leitner stays in at right tackle.
36, Greg Clark.
You go to a Nebraska home game, and you have a full company on the sidelines. Not just 2 platoons, but a full company. Boy, their walk-on program there is spectacular.
They've got some great fans in Nebraska, too. I remember the time when Florida State, as you see, it's just short there by about 2 feet, when Florida State went to Lincoln and actually won the football game, and as the Florida State Seminoles were going off the field, they were actually applauded for their well-played game by the Nebraska fans.
I think that may be...
Tells you a little bit about them.
I think it may be the most informed college football crowd every Saturday I've ever seen. They're really something. Fun place to go to do a ball game. Third down and about a yard. just inside the 28 of Arizona State. Taylor keeps it, moves it to the 24, and that will be the first down at 2 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the first half.
Nebraska's rushers to this point, Taylor has 97 yards. You take a look at some scores. Clark has 26. Jones, the starting I-back, with 20.
And Steve Taylor now with a first down since Clark in motion. Keeps the ball, sets up the throw. Has got a hole up the middle. Pass is caught. And it is Todd Milliken down to the 1, the tight end.
Milliken's a tight end right here. Now he's going to go down and break into the middle. Now this motion man out here is going to pull the safety away from the middle of the field. Watch the safety go out. Taylor rolls this way. Milliken gets jammed and then finds his way into the middle. A nice throw because he had to throw it over the linebacker and drop it into Milliken. Milliken's caught a few passes, and a lot of them have been for touchdowns.
Michael Heibel is at fullback, has the ball, goes straight ahead. Touchdown, Nebraska.
1 yard for the touchdown.
There aren't a whole lot of folks here from Nebraska. What could find tickets are certainly here, and 12 plays to put it in the end zone.
I think they're 4,000. They wanted 12, but they couldn't get it, as you see. Just a straight handoff. And the score for Nebraska.
Brennan in for the extra point try. Jeff Anderson snaps it to Cleet Blakeman. Brennan hits it down the middle. And at 2 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the first half, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, with 2 long drives, each using 12 plays, have moved out to a 14-3 lead. 14-3. Nebraska out to the lead. A big play down the middle for the tight end. Dr. Tom will use all his tools. And he's got some too. Cahoon and Parker, the deep people for Arizona State. Brennan hits it high and long. And it's Cahoon 2 yards deep in the end zone. And penalty flag flying as he goes down at the 17. We got some daredevils returning these kicks, don't we?
Well, they have good special teams, and you get that way by bringing the ball back. They have great confidence in their teams.
Larry Fisher out of the Big 8 is the referee. He's taking his time. I'd like to see it. Hey, guys, you want to borrow a rule book?
It doesn't look like they're talking about it anymore. It looks like they're just standing around waiting.
We don't have a playback system in college football.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact that they're taking their time to make sure they've got the right call. They're talking now to Arizona State.
The right way to do it. They're the 2 fine guards for Arizona State. Kayla's 65 and Randall McDaniel 62. Tom Osborne finding out what the problem was.
Here's the call.
Holding during the return. Illegal block during the return. Offset. Re-kick.
While they're getting ready to re-kick, let's spend a moment with Mike Adamle.
Well, Keith, let's go back to the heat topic a moment. Actually, it's not all that bad down here. There's a light breeze. The players seem to be handling quite well. You know, about 20 years ago, nutritionists told doctors, and doctors told coaches and players that the best way to combat dehydration is to load up with food sources that are rich in potassium, rich in electrolytes, like the orange and the banana. But I found out while down here in the great Southwest that the best source for vitamin C, believe it or not, is the jalapeno pepper. Honest to goodness, this thing is loaded with goodies that'll keep away the dehydration bug.
All right, beat it now. That's not a jalapeno.
Oh!
I don't care what you say.
It is. Oh, that's terrific. It's a jalapeno, and they say it's terrific for vitamin C, honest.
You go ahead and eat another one, and you'll be dead. I bet what? Next time we see him, you'll be out of that coat.
I'll take the oranges, thank you.
Eating a jalapeno. My goodness. All right, from the 35 now, on the re-kick. Same people are deep. Let's see if he runs that one back. No, he fumbled that one out of the end zone. Brennan didn't give him much of a choice. He knocked that thing 9 yards deep in the end zone, and so Arizona State will come back to the 21st down. 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the first half. The Sun Devils have been able to move the ball against Nebraska, at least until they got down into danger territory, and then Arizona State has mistaked itself out of scoring opportunity. Vic Cahoon is now the tailback for the Sun Devils. He's got the ball. And he scoops in there for about 3 yards. We'll bring up second down and 7 as we come up on the 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Arizona State has had the ball 3 times. This is their 4th opportunity. They kicked the field goal, 13 plays the last drive. The other 2 ended in a punt and interception. So, nice drive the last time. They need to get something here to combat that momentum that Nebraska has set up with their last 2 touchdowns.
Aaron Cox, wide man, the bottom of the picture. He's made 1 catch so far today. They keep it in the hands of Ford. He's running for his life, gets his pass off, and the pass is incomplete on the sideline. Very hard pass to throw as Cox had come all the way across the field. That stops your clock now with 1:33 to go in the first half, and both teams have 3 timeouts remaining.
Take a look at the protection. Play action fake.
That's Neil Smith.
It's the long-armed and the quick Neil Smith. See, the ball was thrown late. He should have thrown it sooner, but he had a problem there with Smith being in his pocket. He said, "You're not supposed to be here. Let me get out of here." That messed up the timing. So credit that incompletion to Neil Smith.
3rd down and 7. Out of the shotgun. Ford loads it up, dumps it off underneath, and misses his man. He had Aaron Cox coming across the middle underneath the coverage, trying to, in fact, he had him one-on-one out there, and he simply missed the pass. So once again, Daniel Ford throws an errant pass. And State's got to give it up.
We talk so much about Nebraska's offense, we forget that Nebraska's defense last year was ranked 2nd in the country in total defense, and they were ranked 9th against the run, so they're pretty good defensively also.
Punt is out of there. It's a good high-hanging kick, and forcing a fair catch call by Gresham back up to Nebraska, 37. 41-yard punt, but very good hang time on it. The Cornhuskers get the ball back now with 1 minute and 21 seconds to play in the half.
You know, Karen, you're a talented architect.
The Hookers, having played twice in the Fiesta Bowl, losing the other time to Michigan, but they're leading right now off those 2 long drives by a score of 14-3. First unit offensive line is back in, and Tyrese Knox is now in for the first time at tailback. Taylor gives it to Knox, and Knox is going to run for what appears to be a first down. All came through, so there's a bit of a scuffle on the field, but it's hot. And the big fellows down in the trenches have been painting each other's hat. I mean, there have been some licks laid on each other down there.
Take a look at Daniel Ford, and when it's hot, your tempers start to flare a little bit quicker, and it is hot here today.
Vaughn Shepard now in his wingback. He's got fresh legs. They may air it out here. Over the middle, intercepted. Picked off by Bernard Jones, and Jones brings it back across midfield to the Nebraska 49. So Taylor trying to touch the ball to tight end, and the ball stayed up, and Jones picked it off.
Trying to get the ball to the tight end coming across. Here's Jones. He's just going to see the ball all the way. Little play-action fake. The tight end tries to come across. It's just an overthrow. Good position by the linebacker in front of him. Taylor tried to get it over his head, picked it off. Take a look at Jones. He's in good position this time. He's the man that got beat earlier, but the pass was called back because of a lineman downfield. This time he gets some revenge.
Center fielder for the defense. All right, they come up now. First down on the 49-yard line of Nebraska. 36 seconds to play. Darrell Harris is the tailback. Ford rolls it out. He's got some time. Gets it off. Down the sidelines. Too long. And there's a penalty flag thrown. Tony Johnson, the intended receiver. And the flag thrown over there is in the direction of where the cornerback Charles Fryer was covering him.
Well, you're right, Keith. It was Fryer. It's a little out and up. Fryer was beat, and then he grabs him. The foul already occurred at that point. You see the out and up, or see the last part, the up. Fryer jumped on the out part of it. We'll take a look at it. Right here. Watch these two now. If you run the play, you're going to see him break to the outside, and then he's going to grab him. Right there. Now watch him right. Whoa, I'm beat. Let me help myself. Let me grab you. Better to do that than give up a touchdown.
30 seconds to play in the first half. Arizona State owns the football. First down at the Nebraska 31-yard line. And see where they find to put it down. Now they move it back to the 33-yard line. Well, when that play started, the ball was back just inside the 49, so it should be just inside the 36. That's where they finally put it.
Line of scrimmage, the Nebraska 34.
34-yard line, 15-yard penalty, so
Defensive
where they finally got it.
interference. First down.
But 30 seconds, Arizona State still with 3 timeouts. And they go out of the shotgun. Got to be looking for Cox. Gets it away and incomplete. And Channing Williams out of the backfield, a secondary receiver. He looked for Cox. Cox was well covered, so he tried to go to the second man.
Second down and 10 for Arizona State into Nebraska.
He didn't take much of a drop either. If he'd have dropped back another 3 steps, he'd have had more time. But you're not going to stand that close to the Nebraska defensive people and get very much time.
Well, normally when you drop that short, Keith, only a 3-step or a 5-step drop, you're going to throw the pass a little quicker. The receiver's going to run shorter routes. You can tell how far the quarterback's going to throw it by how deep he drops.
On second down, 25 seconds. They try a run. Now they got to call a timeout, and they do. Stopping the clock at 19 seconds to go in the first half, and the football resting right around the Cornhusker 32-yard line. Sun Devils have 2 timeouts remaining. Cornhuskers lead it 14-3.
Play resumes as we're getting 2 yards.
Tom Osborne has always had a solid program, and not only offensively, but defensively. As we mentioned, last year his defense was second in the nation in total defense. Special teams, they're solid right across the board, and it goes back to the head coach.
All right, Ford drops back into the shotgun. Takes a deeper drop. Rolls it out. Throws underneath. Pass is caught. And Cox is out of bounds at the 14-yard line. 13 seconds to play in the first half. So Aaron Cox looks very close.
There's Cox. He's
breaking one.
All the way across the field, Keith, as these two will clear it out. Cox is the one big play man as a wide receiver that Arizona State has. You see, they know this. 2 men are on him. He outruns them. Ford makes a good throw to get him the football, and they need more of that in the second half. He is their big play receiver.
If he's able to plant that right foot, he scores.
Yeah.
It's first down. Ball at the Husker 14-yard line. 13 seconds to go in the first half. Ford back under center. Play action fake to Harris, the tailback into the end zone. No! Dropped. Pass was there to Tony Johnson, but he drops the ball. If he'd let the ball go a little sooner, he would have made it a lot easier for Johnson because Tony was running out of real estate.
He's right here, Keith. He's going to go up and break, and he's going to be wide open as everybody else is clearing. In motion. Goes across. If you stop it right there, you see he's wide open in the end zone. He should have thrown it sooner, as you said. An opportunity that got away.
8 seconds to play in the first half. Arizona State charged with a timeout here as Allens and Dejas had come on. They had some confusion. The number of people on the field or whatever. They've got one timeout remaining, and now they want to talk on the sidelines, the entire team going over there. But I can't believe that John Cooper's not going to go ahead and take the 3 points here.
Do they have any timeouts left?
Got one left.
Got one left. Well, if 8 seconds, you could throw a slant or something quick and call a timeout as we take another look at this. Well-designed play. The right play at the right time, just poor execution. As you see Cox going downfield, drawing a lot of attention. Was not touched by the defensive back.
He just dropped it.
You got to make those plays to help out your quarterback. He needs to make some plays for himself. We were just talking about that. That time he had the ball there and didn't get any help. He's telling him right now, he says, you got to throw it quickly and then call a timeout.
He's going to run the one more play.
Right.
He's got one timeout remaining. He's got 8 seconds on the clock. So it's got to be a bang-banger and then a timeout.
They told him to throw it quick. And the other thing is, don't throw an interception, and if you don't take a sack, just get rid of it. If it's not there, throw it away.
Nebraska now has countered as the Cornhuskers say, wait a minute, we're going to talk about this. And they take the timeout. Charlie McBride is the man that runs this defensive unit. Of course, there's been a lot of talk around here in this area because of Gene Huey coming from Nebraska after 10 years as a receiver coach. Now he's over here at Arizona State with John Cooper. But Gene has played down any suggestion that he brings any particular secrets. And I think he's probably right. The secret at Nebraska is players and coaching.
I don't think there's any secrets that he can bring, Keith. I think if you have the Nebraska playbook, if you have any team's playbook, it might confuse you more than help you. I think the thing that Huey might be able to add is that he knows the players, he knows their speed, he knows how quick they are, and he also knows their toughness. He may know if some kid can be intimidated in the defensive or offensive line. Small, subtle things like that. But you're not going to give him any big strategies or...
aren't your secrets anyhow?
Yeah.
Aren't your secrets anyway, are there?
There aren't any secrets in this game. Everybody runs the same plays, same defense.
All right, second down. And Ford is back under the center. Gets this pass off to the sidelines. The pass is caught all right, but it doesn't mean a whole lot for Zendejas. It gets him down to the 11-yard line. And now they've got to kick it with 4 seconds.
Well, I got to believe that wasn't the primary receiver. No. There were 2 other ones down in the end zone that were covered, and when he took a look and saw they were covered, he just dumped it out to the side.
Talk about using the clock, Bob. The last 32 seconds on the game clock have taken 10-plus real minutes.
Yeah.
Chris Garrett will hold it. Eddie Grant will snap it, and it's a 27-yarder. It's good. They'll go in the books as 28, actually, since it was marked closer to the 28. First half is over. Pretty good football game. Nebraska 14, Arizona State 6. Game.
They just need plays.
Gooden's kickoff again goes deep into the end zone, and there will be no return. And it'll come out to the 20-yard line, first down.
Agent Admiral at halftime, huh?
Yeah, how about that?
Martin Massengale. I wonder if he knows about you up there in British Columbia running over that cable with your boat.
Don't tell him. I wouldn't even be a bosun's mate if you put me to the real test.
4 of 10 for 45 yards throwing the ball, but Taylor has run for 97 yards. 97 of the 169 yards on the ground for Nebraska has come from the young quarterback.
Arizona State winning the toss at the top of the day, electing to take the second half kickoff, trailing by 8 points. First down at the 20. And Ford to pull back, Harris to tail back, and Harris disappears under the stack after a 3-yard pickup over the left side. Daniel Ford, a couple of times, needed a little less commitment on where he was going to throw the ball and perhaps a little more vision in seeing the field.
Well, Cooper told us yesterday that they cannot win this game with two things, a shootout, a high-scoring game, and without Daniel Ford making some plays. He has missed on some. At the end of the first half, he put the ball on the hands of Johnson, and he didn't get any help.
Second down and 7 from the 23. Ford back on a throw. Down the middle it goes. Got a man wide open. It's Aaron Cox. Cox is on the move. He's on the Nebraska side of the field. First down. Sun Devils. Cornhusker 45.
The protection here, as you see, the play action, the little roll. Good Kalis, number 65. Good protection. He gets hit square in by the receiver, Cox. Big play coming out the second half.
Cox has caught 3 balls now for 76 yards. It's first down at the 45 of Nebraska. Opening possession of the second half. Ford gives to Harris. And Harris runs into Neil Smith and stops suddenly. Here's Mike Adamle.
Well, Keith, one man who needs no introduction here in Sun Devil Stadium is Frank Kush, the winningest coach in Arizona State history. And Frank, I know that you believe in the program here. You did when you were here, and you also believe in what John Cooper's doing.
John Cooper's done a remarkable job. I'm really impressed with him. I spent quite a bit of time with him. He's a very fundamental coach, very conservative in many respects, but he just keeps pounding away at you, and he has a real fine staff. I think he's put the players together. He's got Arizona State on the right track.
What about yourself? We heard the name Frank Kush mentioned about coaching. Do you want to get back into it at a collegial or NFL level?
Yes, Mike. I really love professional football. I'm hoping that we get a franchise here, an NFL franchise. If that's the case, I'm designated as a coach. If not, possibly may have an opportunity if something opens up in the NFL before too long.
Have you gone through some withdrawal pains being out of football as a coach?
Well, no. I keep pretty active. Last year, I even coached the Pop Warner team. So you do anything to keep going. So I enjoy it, really.
Are you still the tough disciplinarian?
Mike, I wish I was half as tough as everybody thought I was.
Okay. Well, one thing is for certain, they still love you here. I talk a lot of fans going to your Kush chat. Yeah.
I wonder if he was as tough on those Pop Warner kids as he was on those Baltimore and Indianapolis Colts.
Well, he was the man that started Camp Tonazana, which is up in the foothills, up in the mountains, get them a little cooler temperature to do their preseason work. Frank did a heck of a job here at Arizona State.
Nothing really jumps out at you there. The total yards in favor of Nebraska, not a surprise. 1 turnover apiece, the time of possession not that great. I guess if you're an Arizona State fan, that the time of possession, you'd like to have it a little bit higher, but Nebraska with the dominating offense, I think those are pretty good stats if you're trying to stop that Big Red Machine.
Well, I see Craig Janoff's horse is here, so he'll be able to go home tonight. Craig lives here in the Valley of the Sun, our director. Bob Goodrich is the Texan in the truck, but he won't ride a horse.
I know where Adamle got that hot pepper a little bit earlier. He got it from Goodrich. Goodrich keeps wanting to take me to these Mexican restaurants around here and eating those hot peppers.
All right, now we're organized and ready to go on second down and 8 from the 42. Make it the 43. Ball is given to Harris. No, it's Channing Williams, the fullback. Williams, that's a new play. We had not seen the fullback run that kind of a sweep before that time. And at 13 minutes to play, the Sun Devils are now at the Nebraska 35-yard line and close to a first down.
Watch the two the left tackle, the left guard McDaniel, and the left tackle pull and lead the play as a man is going to come up here from the end zone. McDaniel is 62. 64 is Underwood.
Well, that's
nice
a pancake
play
for McDaniel, isn't it?
Tell you what, he's a good player.
Stretch the chain out, and they're going to have a first down. It's just over the Cornhusker 35-yard line. Jim Devine went into the Arizona State University Hall of Fame officially at halftime. They had some of Dan's teams in here for a big celebration last night. Of course, Dan posted a 10-win season here himself, a couple of them. Kurt Windorf is now in at fullback, replacing Williams for Arizona State on this first down snap. Harris has the ball. And he's got 5 yards as he gets across the 30. On first down runs and the plays of all kinds, your average on first down for Arizona State in the game so far is better than 6 yards. And if you can keep doing that, you will eventually score some points.
Well, if you can make 4 yards on first down, it's a positive play. Both teams are averaging much higher than that here today.
Call it a 5-yard pickup just over the 30. Ford looks past, gives it off to Windorf. He's got a big hole over the left side, and he's down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. So the junior out of Granada Hills, California, 200-pounder, bolts in there for the first down.
Backs have to block for each other. Watch the back come here and block as the line in the hole is going to open right here for the running back to go right through and to the left side of the offensive line. Harris, number 12, a good block. Tell you what, it means one thing to be able to run the football, but if you can block for each other, you'll gain a lot more yardage.
First down at the 18 for the Sun Devils. 14-6, Nebraska leads it. Double wide, bottom of the picture. Give it to Harris. Harris over the left side, and he's across the 15 to the 14 before he is anchored down by the middle of the Nebraska defensive front, Jeff Jamrog and Lawrence Beat. Harris now 15 carries and 64 yards in the ball game.
Most of that yardage that Arizona State has accumulated here in the second half has been inside the ends, using that big offensive line to run right at them.
All right, watch the man at the top of the picture, Aaron Cox, number 84. Up goes the other way. And the intended receiver, Tony Johnson, was blocked away from the play, and it gets a penalty flag. Lorenzo Hicks impeded his progress, and that's what got the flag.
Well, the jam is going to occur right here. This man is going to jam him. Now, you can jam downfield in college football, but not when the ball is in the air. Now, watch him right here. The ball is in the air. Let it go a little bit further. Right now, and the jam occurs. That's what the flag is all about.
So the Huskers make a mistake. It's a big break for Arizona State. The football will be first down and goal, 2.5 yards away from the goal line.
John Cooper doing a nice job at halftime as we take another look. There's the jam. Nothing wrong with that in college football as long as the ball was not in the air. Unfortunately for Hicks, number 8, he says, hey, I didn't touch him. The ball was in the air, but Cooper has done a nice job coming out at halftime. Must have really fired these guys up.
We've got a timeout called by the referee, Larry Fisher. Charge timeout. Water cooler came on the field, but they got to get out of there because they're gonna waive it now. It was not a full timeout. It was called by the official. We came over briefly to talk to the people on the Nebraska sideline about something. So they're not entitled to a full timeout here, but by the time we get through wiggling around with it, it looks to me like they're going to have almost a full timeout. Now Arizona State comes up. They had to do it quickly. First down and goal. McDaniel is in the backfield. Big number 62 in there to block. Give the ball to Channing. Will go. They throw it in the end zone. Ford completes the pass to Chris Garrett. And the Sun Devils have scored. They had put the guard, Randall McDaniel, into the backfield. They have done that before as a blocker, lined the fullback up behind him, and they gave every indication in the world that they would give the ball to the fullback, faked it to him, but Ford kept it, and Garrett catches it for the TD.
Every time McDaniel has been in the backfield, it's been a run. They fake the run. Garrett gets away, makes a nice move. He was covered going to the corner, and then he stopped and came back. Ford found him, and for the touchdown.
As they will go for 2 to tie here at 12:50 to go in the third quarter. Penalty flag as Ford throws, and it is caught, but let's see about the penalty flag. Aaron Cox caught it. But there was a flag thrown just as the ball was snapped. Against Arizona State. The 2-point conversion is wiped off. That hasn't sunk in yet with the celebrating Sun Devils, but it's still 14-12.
Well, it's a well-designed play. As a team, you go through these 2-point conversions throughout the week. I'm sure that was their number 1 play. Now they're going to have to go to their number 2 play if they still go for 2 points.
Eight plays, 80 yards, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And the football comes back to the 8-yard line.
Illegal motion, offense. The try is no good. We'll repeat the try.
And it will be for 2.
5-yard penalty.
That's a big emotional lift for Nebraska. And as I said, when you go through these 2-point conversions in practice, you have your number 1 play, and a lot of times that is head and shoulders above the number 2. Let's see what Arizona State comes up with here.
They've got Tony Johnson to the right, Aaron Cox to the left, Darrell Harris in the backfield, Channing Williams up in the slot. He goes in motion, the fullback. Ford will throw. Down the middle to Williams. Williams diving for the goal line. Got in there. Mark Blazek had a hold of him, had his arms wrapped around him, just couldn't hold him.
It's a big play by Williams as he is hit about 2 yards short. Now this is just sheer determination. He knows he's going to get an extra point if he can get 1 more yard. Big play. The blitz is on. The linebackers come. There's nobody in the middle. Ford sees it. Williams says, I got to get in. Blazing says, I'm not going to let you. Good determination. Key play. There's a man coming over here. This is going to be the play they scored on, I believe. He's going to run to the inside. Comes back to the inside. Catches the ball there now. It's just determination. You saw nobody in the middle of the field at all because the linebackers were blitzing.
And so we're all even at 14-14, 12:50 to play in the third quarter. Arizona State will kick off. Zendejas, Clark, and Brinson deep for the Huskers. Wynn grabs it and holds it at the 2. It's Brinson. Knocked off his feet.
Number 33.
After a pretty good return, he comes back to just about the 30-yard line. So Nebraska has pretty good field position to start this possession.
Go back and take take a look at that last touchdown. Garrett is here in motion. He's going to break to the corner, but he's going to be covered and then hook back to the inside. It's a good adjustment on Garrett's part and on the part of Ford. At the top of your screen, pretty good coverage. He says, I'm not open there. Let me stop. Ford makes a nice adjustment, gets hit as he throws the football.
This is Keith Jones from the 30 to about the 36. One of the trademarks of a Nebraska football team, as long as I can remember, the centers that they've had come off the ball so fast that it always looks like they're offside. In this particular case, it's Jake Young. But I remember Dave Remington, you know, when he played there, my gosh, he'd have it. He'd belt buckle the field.
They've had some good ones down through the year.
Sure have. Call it second down, 4.5. Close to 5. Taylor keeps it, missed by 1, and finally thrown out of bounds. And now you get a penalty flag, and that's a little picky, I think, because the flag was thrown out of bounds because one of the Arizona State players ran into him out of bounds, Bernard Jones. The thing that got Jones in trouble with it was Jones was off the play and came off the field to make the hit.
Yeah, we'll take another look. He's out right here. That's a little close, yeah. That's a little close.
There's Jeff Joseph, who suffered the knee injury earlier, but they indicate there may not be a tear in the cartilage, strained ligaments. The personal foul now is going to move Nebraska on up the field. Those are hard calls to make. They're judgment calls.
And they're trying to protect the players, and it's understandable. It's interesting that play is going to help the momentum for Nebraska. Nebraska went at halftime really dominating this ball game. Arizona State came out, took the momentum back, and that play is going to help boost Arizona if their offense needs any boosting.
It's first down now at the Sun Devil 45 after the personal foul. And give it to Keith Jones. Jones sweeps it outside, and he, remember, runs a 4-3. And he shows it to you right there as he picks up a first down at the Arizona State 26. Eric Allen finally got him. So it's typical Cornhusker reaction to having somebody score on him.
Tom Osborne also had a few choice words to say to Nebraska at halftime, even though he didn't come out and get the offense and get the ball on the field right away. The fact that his defense was scored on still didn't stop the offense from coming back and putting in some good plays.
Jones again. Not much there. He'll take what they give him, and that'll be about 3 yards before Trace Armstrong brings him down. Armstrong, out of Birmingham, Alabama, a senior, is another member of the Arizona State Walking Wounded. He's been out there scrapping all day. Taylor still got it. Curtailed and brought down for a loss by Sean Patterson. The defensive tackle fought his way through and got him back around the 28-yard line.
Patterson 97. Keeler is 65. Grabs his face mask and then lets go. Trying to contain him. We mentioned keeping him inside. A nice job of grabbing his sleeve, and the strength of Patterson brings him down.
So it'll be third down and 12 now for Nebraska as the ball comes back out near the 28 with a crowd of 71,264, and that includes about 2,000 standing room tickets. Taylor back to throw. Zips his pass. Incomplete. Lucky to get that one back. Diving in front of the ball is Eric Allen, intended for Henley Hawkins.
One of the few times today that Arizona State is going to blitz. Clark, number 36, is on the blitz. Man-to-man coverage in the secondary. Just doesn't get it through there. Two Nebraska receivers right in the same area. You'd like to have them separated a little bit more than they were on that play.
Chris Brennan with a strong leg. The left footer is going to try a field goal from 44 yards. First attempt of the year at a three-pointer for him. Nope, fake it. Clete Blakeman, quarterback, holds it, throws out here the tight end screen. And Todd Milliken still going, pounding, and he's down at the 1. Never trust Tom Osborne when it comes to calling the offense. I tell you right now, he is a riverboat gambler.
Well executed, and this came from watching film during the week, something that they saw that Arizona State did not do when they rushed the extra point of the field goal team. Osborne loves to play chess. He has a PhD. He's a doctor, very smart. He calls the plays, and it was at the right time that he called that one.
And his first and goal for Nebraska at the 1. Ball goes to Jones. Touchdown, Huskers.
Number 6, Keith Jones, 1 yard for the touchdown.
Well, that's the mark of a good football team, Bob. They're stung by an 8-point score from Arizona State, and they come right back.
No question, and two things stick out on the drive as we take another look. And going to the left side over Keeler and Sledge just jumps in for the score. Number 1 was the roughing the quarterback penalty that gave him 15 extra yards. The other, of course, was the fake field goal that came at a very opportune time and got him 7 points.
Brennan for the point. And it's good. So 9 minutes and 49 seconds to play in the third quarter. And the Cornhuskers go back to the lead by a score of 21-14. Together in the musical Sing It Swing are reunited. Nebraska will kick off to Arizona State. Now we see how Arizona State can respond. I know that John Cooper said he didn't want to get into a shootout, but he may not have any choice.
Well, he doesn't have any choice at this point. I'm sure he doesn't want to get into the 30s and 40s, but he's only down 7 points. We've played half of the third quarter, and we've got a real ball game.
They had 9:49 showing on the clock. That was incorrect. It's now corrected at 7:49.
Originally the kickoff for Arizona State. Number 31, Victor Boone, and number 32, Anthony Parker. Set to kickoff for Nebraska. Number 16, Chris Leonard.
The officials doing some toweling themselves, and when the water bucket has gone on the field for the teams, the men in the striped shirts have also participated. Don't blame them. So far, we haven't had a single cramp ever. No, it's been visible. Brennan kicks off, long and deep. Well, they moved him back to the 35-yard line, trying to force kickoff returns, but they may have to prove Brennan back to the 25, the way he hammers it. Whew. 12:30 Eastern and Pacific, 11:30 Central Time tomorrow. The Ryder Cup golf matches, and our guys have got a problem at Muirfield in Dublin, Ohio. Followed by the Mita Tennis Festival. Celebrities joining Bjorn Borg and Vitas Gerulaitis. At 3 Eastern and Pacific and 2 Central Time, all on ABC Sports tomorrow. Arizona State at the 20. Darrell Harris and Kenny Williams in the backfield. Harris. 3 yards. Out to the 23. Detroit continuing to lead Toronto now in the 7th. Minnesota losing. Oakland just getting underway. St. Louis in the 7th, leading by 4. Mets lost to Pittsburgh. Those Pirates have made life miserable for some folks. Houston's out of it in the Western Division, and Cincinnati's getting close to being out of it. Giants winning last night. 2nd down and 7. Ford throwing. Pressure on, gets it away as big Neil Smith, number 99, all 260 pounds of him, laid out after that quarterback, and the pass misses.
One of the concerns coming into the ball game for Arizona State, Jim Coletto was saying, the offensive coordinator, our offensive tackles have to be able to block those defensive tackles for Nebraska. And one of the big matchup is Scott Kirby on the right side, the tackle against Neil Smith. That time, Smith, with his strength and speed, getting in there to pressure Ford.
They actually had a pretty good play set up. A screen pass for the tailback over there, but couldn't get the ball to him. It is third down and 6.5 or 7 right now. With a play action that holds the backers. The pass is away down the middle to Cox and complete for a first down at the 39-yard line. Aaron Cox. Oh, he's a good one, isn't he?
And he did a nice thing, too, Keith. When he was in the open area, he didn't move out of it. The ball didn't come at the right time because Ford had some men in front of him, and he couldn't see him. So he had to kind of look around. Cox stayed in the open area. Even though he has all that speed, he didn't get jittery and just hung there for a good completion.
So the Sun Devils off the hook again on third down with Tony Johnson going in motion back toward the ball, and Daniel Ford back to throw it, caught from behind, tries to get away from the pursuit and cannot do it. He was hit by 3 different people, Mike Murray, Lee Jones, and then it was Neil Smith that put him down. Now that's 240 pounds, 245 pounds, and then came the big fellow, 260.
Well, Nebraska has been pretty active in their front 7 this year. They came into this ball game with 18 sacks, and Tim Rother, a backup defensive tackle, has led the team with 6. But that time it wasn't because of the protection as much as it was the downfield coverage. He had plenty of time to throw that football.
They need 17 yards on second down for their first down. Back at the 32. Ford gives it to Harris. Harris bounces outside. And Darrell is to the 46. So he picked up 14 of the 17 yards right there before Brian Washington brought him down.
Also in on the tackle, number 10, Charles Fryer.
Nice call here. 2nd and 17. Could be pass or run when you go back that. It's the sprint draw. Good blocking on the left side by Underwood and McDaniel. Just getting as much as he can and then getting down.
Tight end Knutson hasn't seen the ball in a while. Third down, 3. Nothing doing. Oh, they don't call him down. He's still running. He's got a first down. I thought he was down. Everybody else thought he was down. And there was the referee, Larry Fisher, was standing right there. His knee never touched the ground, which means that he had his hands and his feet on the ground, and that's all, and Ford picks up a first down. Whoa, what a big play that is.
Well, the defense had a meeting back there at the quarterback. Watch as he steps up. His hand goes down. His other, you're not down until your knee goes down. And that was a nice no call by the referee, Larry Fisher.
Well, he was right there, too.
Yes, he was.
So it's first down, Arizona State at the Husker 46. Ford still got it. Comes it down the middle, and it's batted down by number 38, Steve Forch, senior linebacker from Lincoln. And he almost picked it off. Here's Mike.
Well, injured cornerback Jeff Joseph was supposed to be taken to the hospital, but he had that right knee checked on, but instead he decided to stay and watch this game. They couldn't drag you out of here, could they, Jeff?
This is a big game for the team, for the state, for the fans, and I don't want to miss it, you know.
And I know it also helps to have your mom down here, too, lending a little moral support. Barbara, it's tough to watch Jeff get hurt.
Yeah, it's too bad. He's kind of anxious to go into play anyway, you know, so hopefully... Hopefully he'll...
Kind of a pensive laugh there, wasn't it?
He'll be back.
I have the feeling with 4.5 minutes to play in the third quarter, I'm looking at 2 pretty good football teams.
I'm impressed with Arizona State and the way they've come up offensively. This young Ford is playing much better in the second half than he did in the first half. He's made some plays on this drive already.
On second down, coming around is Darrell Harris, but he cannot get away from Brian Washington, the senior strong safety. A sure tackle in the open field by Washington. Yeah, Oklahoma finally got around to rolling it up. There's very little time left to play in that Ohio State LSU ball game. Miami's laying it on Arkansas. From the 45 now, third down and just about 10. Ford gets it away as he's hit, and it is off the hands of the intended receiver, Aaron Cox. Ball was just a little bit high for Cox to pull it in. And he got rattled around some, too. He gets up a little game, but he'll be all right.
Man-to-man coverage in the secondary, which means probably tighter coverage. They wanted to get a little tighter on Cox. As you see there, he had to throw it. Was rushed by the pressure of the defensive line. Ball just a little out of his reach. Good coverage in the secondary.
Mike Shue to punt. Third time today. Whistle stop him. And Nebraska is charged with a timeout. That's kind of a funny place to call a timeout. 3:52.
Okay.
The punt by Mike Shue just misses the corner and goes into the end zone, so you really didn't miss anything. A 45-yard punt. And Nebraska will now come out. The reason they had to call the timeout is they were mixed up on their punt return team, and Dana Brinson was late getting out there. So having the ball go into the end zone will bring the Huskers back out to the 20, and now there's some heat on the Arizona State defensive folks. See if they can hold the Huskers at this point.
Ladies and gentlemen,
now have a look at the Arizona State defensive unit. They're all gathered together out in the center of the field, and now when Nebraska comes up to its offensive set, that's when Arizona State deploys to its defensive set. Taylor is caught, and down he goes back at the 15, and the long fumble, and Arizona State's got the ball. They not only got the quarterback, Sapolu got a hold of Taylor, wouldn't let him go, and in the struggle, the ball comes loose. So, Sapolu.
Well, take a look. Arizona came into the game with 9 turnovers in 2 games. Sapolu, 94, gets there before Taylor pitches the ball, and then he gets the fumble recovery. They had 9 turnovers coming in, 7 off of fumbles, and that's what you're going to have when you pitch the ball a lot. Sapolu, who was out with an injured eye, back playing this game, comes up with a big play.
First down, Arizona State at the Nebraska 15-yard line. Windorf is the fullback. Harris, the tailback. Harris with the ball goes to the 11. Pickup of 4 on the carry.
I asked Tom Osborne yesterday about those turnovers. A team that wins as often as Nebraska does, it's surprising that they have a negative giveaway-takeaway ratio, and they do like about a -5. They've turned it over more than they've gotten it back. He said that's something we're not happy with, but we just have to get better at it. Taylor has fumbled several times, as has Jones, but it's the nature of the beast when you run the option as well as they do.
Ford gives it to Windorf, bounces outside. One straight arm, and then he's belted out of bounds at the 8-yard line. They'll need 3 yards to keep it on 3rd down. Windorf has got just that little extra quickness over Shannon Williams, and he bounces outside very well, and we've got a Nebraska man down on the field. It might be Neil Smith, number 99, or Broderick Thomas, 89. It is Thomas. Broderick Thomas is the hurt Husker. Here we go. 3rd down and 3. Arizona State at the 8-yard line. Ford's got it, looking to throw it. Gets it away. Good. First down inside the 5 at the 4. Catch by Kirk Windorf, the fullback, swinging out of the backfield.
Well, 3rd and short, play action. They've been mixing their run and pass very well today. As you see Windorf right coming at you at the bottom of your screen. Play action comes back well, catches the ball. Before that play, ASU had 7 rushing first downs and 7 passing first downs and had 144 yards rushing and passing. That play for 4 yards and a big first down.
Williams back in at fullback in front of Harris, behind Ford. Cox is out, Garrett is out. They got 2 tight ends in there. They go power, touchdown, Harris.
Here. The play is going this side. Ford turns this way to pitch it out here, and he turns the wrong way, but he makes a nice recovery. Watch him, he turns it. Oh, I've turned the wrong way. There's nobody over there. Nice recovery by the young quarterback.
Zendejas, good. So with 2 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the third quarter now, we're even again at 21.
Big offensive line creating a hole, just a little gap. You know, I've done that before too, Keith, when I was playing. You know, you get involved in so many things at the line of scrimmage. You know what the play is. Sometimes you'll forget the snap count, but sooner or later you're going to forget, was it tossed to the right or tossed to the left, and you turned the wrong way. And it's a good thing he didn't pitch the ball, but he made a nice recovery. Showed a lot of poise by that young quarterback.
I remember a game one time, and I won't tell you which game nor who it was, but I remember a young quarterback literally turning around the wrong way, pitching the ball, and it's rolling around on the ground.
It happened.
And the other folks got it.
Well, he has played, Daniel Ford has played much better in the second half, as we've been talking about all game long. For Arizona State to win, they had to do something with their young quarterback. Whoops, there he is over there, okay. Now, either turned wrong or called the play wrong from what he was thinking.
That's just a little extra deception into it. Zendejas kicked off, low this time, bouncing down the field. High bounce, Brenton goes to the goal line. He's got a wedge, and then goes down hard at the 20. Oh, that's a pretty tough tackle by Stacy Harvey, inside linebacker, and we understand there is a heavy loss now at hand for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Broderick Thomas has a dislocated shoulder, and he is one of their premier defensive players.
Preseason All-American and one of their leaders on defense. Hadn't done too much today, as Arizona State had kept him pretty much under control, but that'll be a key loss.
Huskers go from the 20. 2:40 to play, third quarter, 21-21 tie. Jones. And Keith Jones for almost 7 yards on the carry. Just pure old-fashioned power football. And one of the Sun Devils is down on that play, got buried underneath that pile. And it's number 36, Greg Clark, an inside linebacker.
As fatigue begins to set in here in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, these players are going to be...
But sometimes wisdom is worth more. It is second down and 4 for Nebraska. Ball goes to the I-back, Keith Jones, and Jones is caught short of the first down. Making the play, Trace Armstrong. There's a fellow who's playing with a strained knee, left knee.
The Sun Devils had a lot of depth in their defense last year, Keith, but a lot of those players graduated. They don't have a lot of depth this year. That's why they can ill afford some of these injuries that are occurring to them this afternoon. They came in kind of thin in the defensive line.
Well, the gamer, Greg Clark, is back. Started back onto the field now after getting a deep breath. And the Cornhuskers looking at 3rd and 2. They are 4 out of 8 today at third down conversion. Taylor has checked off, looks like. Goes to the I-back, Jones, and he'll have the first down. Penalty flag is across the field, so look out for that one. There might have been some movement. On Nebraska.
Dead ball, illegal procedure, offense, third down.
That was hard to tell from that. It looked like the far man, the right tackle or the tight end on the right side may have moved, but it looked as though he moved when the ball was snapped.
But the penalty makes it 3rd down and 7. 21-21 tie. Taylor, shirt-tailed, throws it incomplete. There is no grasp rule in college football. Rick Zumwalt got a handful of shirt. I know that Taylor has a lot of yards running the ball today, but just think about what he would have if they still had the old tearaway jerseys.
Yeah.
Jeepers, he'd have a couple of hundred.
He does not have as much yardage in the second half as the Sun Devils have done a nice job of containing him in the second half. Got most of that rushing yardage in the first half.
All right, Nebraska will punt. Croker is in, standing inside of his 10. John should hit it up around the 13-yard line. And the deep man for Arizona State is Anthony Parker. That's a high snap. They get a little pressure on him. They started to throw a flag, but then he put his hand back in his pocket and let it go. And Parker brings the ball back to the 42. You saw the Arizona State man run in a little bit, just a little bump on Croker. But by the time he bumped him, he had both feet on the ground. And no flag. 44-yard punt.
Well, no excitement yet on special teams, and especially on the punt teams. As we said, coming in, both these teams were tops in punt returns last year. Oh, there's no flag there. No.
Croker's acting wasn't quite sufficient.
That was another good no call or no foul call.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Daniel Ford and company now. 21-21 tie. Have the ball at their 42. Ford gives the ball to Harris, and Harris is going to have a yard, and that'll do it. Porch is on top of the stack. But down underneath all of it is big Neil Smith. Second down, 9. Ford still got it. Whips it out in the flats and throws it behind the intended receiver, Channing Williams. Well, he'll learn to throw that ball to the outside. If you're going to miss with it, miss on the outside shoulder, not the inside shoulder.
No question. As we take a look at Cooper, he's got to be pleased at this point in time. He wanted a close game and a relatively low-scoring game, and he has got it right here with 13 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Now it's 3rd and long. Where's Cox? Down at the bottom of the picture. Drifting along underneath. Throws it to him. Threw it poorly, and Aaron couldn't pull it in. Very bad pass by Ford.
Ford didn't have a lot of time to look around. He got rid of the football, and it's a big defensive series for the Cornhuskers as they get the football back in what's going to be pretty good field position.
Shue is in to punt, 4th one of the day. He's been at 44, 41, and 45 on his first 3. Dana Brinson, the speedster, is deep. High kick. And a fair catch call, and knocked out of bounds by Rod Smith, a short man. So Shue didn't get all of that kick. And you're right, Nebraska does come out of it with pretty good field position after a 27-yard punt. They have it first down at their own 30 in a 21-21 tie. 15 minutes to go, 1 quarter. 21-21 tie. Number 12 ranked Arizona State. Number 2 ranked Nebraska. Huskers ball, first down at the 30. Steve Taylor, Micah Heibel, and Keith Jones. Center is John Nichols. Fullback Heibel. Back him up after 2 yards. Maybe 3. Give him a 3. Patterson again making the hit for Arizona State, number 97.
Being on the play of 3 yards.
Tell you what, Bob, he ain't bad, is
For the Cornhuskers at their own 33.
Some people talk about a number 1 draft choice in the NFL next year, and certainly he is playing that way here today.
Gregory, one of the wide men, top of the picture. Taylor. Pass, Milliken, tight end, good to the 45-yard line. And a first down for the Huskers.
on the play by number 47, Nebraska.
Hilligan is here. He's going to come down and break to the outside as a play-action fake, and he's just going to drill it right over here. Nebraska needs to loosen up the Arizona State Sun Devil defense. A nice throw, throws it away from the defense. Good completion.
This is Jones. Oh, did he take a lick? Who was it filling that hole? Number 97, Sean Patterson.
Sun Devils number 2 in the Pac-10 in defense overall. Very quick. A lot of speed. Patterson 97. He's getting knocked that way, keeps his balance, keeps his shoulders upfield, and gets a part of the tackle.
Second down, 6. Taylor flips it out on the end around to Dana Brinson. And Arizona State followed it all the way. It'll be third down and about 2 yards. Eric Allen, Greg Clark, principal tackler. Allen, 25.
You're seeing the whole package now from Tom Osborne and his offense for the Cornhuskers. You've seen flea flickers in the first half that went for a touchdown called back. You're seeing reverses, options, misdirections, throwing everything at them. Arizona State seemed to settle down defensively, playing very well.
Taylor keeps it. And big play, Steve Taylor, 23-yard line, Arizona State. All right, you Heisman voters. You got something to think about today, don't you?
Well, up until this point, Steve Taylor had 3 yards, minus 7 yards in the second half on 3 carries. Finds a little hole. The play was designed to go outside, just ad-libs it, turns it up, and a big first down for the Cornhuskers.
Fullback Heibel. Tough man goes to the 15. 8 yards on the carry. That play by Taylor has jacked up the Nebraska offense one more time.
To take a look at the third quarter stats, the big key there is the turnover for Nebraska set up the tying touchdown for Arizona State, and the total yardage now is in favor of Arizona. Arizona State has 297, and they also control the clock.
Second down and 2. Jones. He's very close to his first down. Ball was rolling around. Or call him down or not? Call him down. Clark and Bernard Jones on the hit.
Well, John Cooper doesn't have a vote, but he certainly was trying to convince the officials. Almost loses his balance.
Stepped on his own man's heel there, yeah.
The ball didn't come out. It was just a matter of whether it came out before his knee hit the ground, but it was very close.
It is first down, Nebraska at the Arizona State 12.
The ball looked like it was out to me, Keith.
Taylor still got it. Throws in the end zone. Touchdown. Pass caught by Rod Smith. And so Nebraska goes back on top. Will they go for 1 or will they go for 2?
Let's take a look at the touchdown. Both the right tackle and guard pull, confusing the defense. Not bad coverage, but Smith gets behind the coverage and makes a nice reception for a touchdown.
They'll go for the kick. They're going for 1. Somewhere down the road, somebody might have to make a decision here. But it's still 11 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the ball game as Drennan knocks it through there. And the Cornhuskers again to the lead by 7. A good football game.
Let's go back and take a look at the play before the touchdown. Back it up a little bit. Back it up just a little. If the ball is out before his knee hits the ground, it's a fumble. All right, run it. Go ahead. The helmet's on the ball. Ball is loose. Looks to me like the ball is loose before his knee hits down, but that's history now.
Yep. The facts of the matter is a 7-point lead for the Cornhuskers. And Cahoon deep Arizona State. 11:22 to play in the football game. And at the 4-yard line, it is Parker. Across the 30. Next Saturday, check your local listings. These are the games. UCLA Stanford Pac-10 contest, Ohio State at Tennessee, and Ohio State LSU. Come on, rules makers. Let's get a tiebreaker.
Well, you know, that's why they put in that 2-point conversion, Keith. And the coaches didn't like the 2-point conversion because it's a tough decision at the time. I'm sure the coaches don't want that tiebreaker. They'd much rather take a tie than a loss.
I guess that's particularly so when you're involved in conference play. Darrell Harris, number 12, carried the ball. You know where he went? He went right at the spot that used to be occupied by Roderick Thomas. And we were told that Thomas had a dislocated shoulder. He was out a couple of plays, and now he's back in the ball game. So I don't know whether he had a dislocated shoulder or not.
Well, he heals quickly if he did.
On 2nd down and 10, Ford to throw. Down the middle, caught by Cox. Aaron Cox down at just over the midfield. The ball came out, but again, he is ruled down. The play stopped, and it's just across midfield.
Here we are right here. As the man clears straight down the middle, Cox up here will come down and break straight in. And a nice throw from Ford right over the middle, as he only has to throw it between the linebackers. The man goes straight down to clear the safety. Ford throws it between the linebackers. Nebraska says it came out. The official says first down for ASU.
And Ford's going to throw it, got pursuit. Runs back into the crowd and will lose a couple of yards. Roderick Thomas was their pursuing man along with Mike Murray. So I think the secondary information received on Broderick Thomas was correct. Bruised, not dislocated. I don't believe you can dislocate, flop it back in, and go out there and play football like that.
No way he had a dislocated shoulder. We saw the play he was hurt on. He just fell to the ground. Nobody hit him, and he came off, and I think it was just maybe a bruise, and he felt like, hey, I can go back. Yeah, I'll just hit with my other shoulder. He certainly isn't big enough to hit with his other shoulder.
2nd down, 12. Darrell Harris, the line of scrimmage, and that'll do it. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Now the pendulum has sort of swung back as the Nebraska defense beginning to assert itself again. A defensive front for the Huskers. Thomas, Neil Smith, Lawrence Peete, Tim Rother, alternating with Lee Jones and Jeff Jamrock. And that's the time remaining in the game. 28-21. Before the 4th largest crowd in Arizona State University history, 71,264. Shotgun, Ford, a lot of time. Now throws, no. Intended for Cox, the ball was too high. He had him. He just threw it high and away.
Well, he had to throw it high. He had some linebackers underneath that he had to throw it over. And then he threw it on the safe side. He threw it long rather than short. If he'd thrown it short, chance of being picked off.
Mike Shue will punt. Dana Brinson's feet. Low line drive away from Brinson and out of bounds. And they'll give it to him inside the 15 at the 12. So that's where Nebraska will have it. 1st down and 10 from the 12, leading by 7, 8 minutes, 34 seconds to play in the game. All right, Nebraska comes up with Taylor, Tyrese Knox, Brian Carpenter in the backfield. And give it to Knox. is not a man who is afraid of taking a knock. And he just put his helmet down and marched on up across the 15. Ball is marked at the 17-yard line. That's a pickup of 5 yards. Huskers trying to break a string here on this particular field.
The difference in fields, Keith, is there is some difference. I mean, it's all a state of mind. I mean, you either play on grass or you play on artificial turf. The game is a little bit slower on grass. Every Big 8 team has artificial turf. Nebraska plays 98% of their games on turf. They have a lot of quickness and a lot of speed on their team, both offensive and defense, so it does make a difference. It's almost like a tennis player. You know, some tennis players are dominant on clay, some on hard surfaces. As we look at Dillard.
Yeah, he's the guy that butted heads with Tyrese Knox.
Yeah.
So he's going to leave. Second down and about 5. Taylor still got it. Throws it. And the pass is incomplete to Todd Milliken. So it'll be third down and 5. Well, you're getting now to where any moment becomes tedium, because now they're looking at 3rd and 5. If they miss here, they got to kick it. Arizona State's got to get good field position out of it.
And looming in the background, and we talked about it at the opening, and talked about it every now and then during the ball game, is the punt return for both teams has not been a factor in this ball game. And both coaches stressed it yesterday, could still play an important role in this game.
And you got strong leg place kickers on both sides. That's Brinson in motion. Penalty flags down. I think Arizona State might have started too soon. Offside, no. Well, State's calling it against the Huskers for movement. Let's see what Larry Fisher has to say about it. Yep, against Nebraska. Now I think, Bob, fatigue may be getting involved in things.
Well, physical fatigue as much as mental fatigue also. I mean, there the offensive line is taught to stay in there and not move. The defensive linebackers were faking a stunt. I don't think they were faking. They were coming. You get a little tired mentally, you're going to move a little bit ahead of the snap.
It is now third down at about 10. And everybody out there in maroon and gold is thinking contain Taylor.
And offensively, this is an area where you don't want to make a mistake down in your own part of the field, deep in your own end zone area.
I think the side judge came in and stopped it for a moment to talk to the referee about something. Now they'll go. It's about 9 yards. The football has been placed at the 13, and they started this possession near the 12. Patterson waving his arms, exhorting the crowd. And they pick up the clue. A lot of noise on Steve Taylor trying to check off, it looks like. Takes discipline right here. Taylor gives to his fullback and nothing doing as Michael Heibel is stopped at the 15. And too much time call against Nebraska. They'll decline that. Take the play and bring up 4th down.
Well, they were faking a blitz. Keith, look at the linebackers right here. They're up in the line of scrimmage. The other keys are the safety. The safety normally is way back here. Now they got up here in a blitz look, confused him on 3rd down, and it was a nice play defensively for Arizona State.
Well, I'm surprised here now, Bob. They've accepted the penalty, which gives them another snap of the ball.
I'm surprised, too. They had them backed up 4th down. They had to punt the football. Now you give them a chance to make a 1st down with all that speed in the backfield.
Now Taylor's not going to buy it this time. The crowd starts whooping and yelling. He steps away.
Well, it's only going to get worse.
Yep. Just got to go up on first down and go, huh?
Well, you don't want to go on first down, but you want to go up and ignore him. And he's telling him right there, you got to make an effort. And if you can't hear, and if he goes up 3 times, they'll ask the home team to quiet him and then actually charge him a timeout if they don't get the ball snapped.
I'll tell you what, though, if Nebraska does get off the hook here with the first down, having given them that extra play, that might be the biggest play of the ball game. Of course, you know that might have been an automatic.
Well,
the time might have run out before.
Okay.
True. You never know.
Yeah, right.
Taylor's back to throw it off the goal line. He's got all day. Fumbles the football. Arizona State's got it. At the 11-yard line, Nathan LeDuc caught it. Ball flew up in the air, and LeDuc came down with it.
Well, we mentioned the high ratio of turnovers coming in that Nebraska had in the first 2 games. Defense trying to contain him, not overreacting.
Put the ball away. Put the ball away. He's got it out there like a loaf of bread.
No question. Nathan LeDuc gets the ball. True freshman playing in a big football game.
It is on the 13 where they mark it down. First down for Arizona State at the Cornhusker 13-yard line. Darrell Harris, the tailback, inside the 10 to about the 8. Watch that football now. Watch where he's got it out there in front of him.
Well, this is the good and the bad, because he gets away with a lot of it and makes some big yardage, but when you get in tight, his old man knocks it out.
That's a 4-yard pickup for Harris down to the 9-yard line. Second down for Arizona State. Fullback Williams, Channing Williams, pounds to the 4. So that's the call. We thought, when I saw the man come in from the side and time had run out, it was a dead ball foul, so the Arizona State team did not have an option.
But the reason it took so long was the confusion on the part of Taylor and what the Sun Devils were doing defensively.
Third down and a yard, 2 fullbacks in the backfield, Wendorf and Williams. And it is Williams, and he dives to the goal line, but he's held short. It'll be first and goal to go, Arizona State, as Williams tried to stretch it in and couldn't quite do it.
I'll tell you what John Cooper is thinking about right now.
2 points.
Is the 2-point play. You've been talking about it the last 10 or 15 minutes. It's not the first guy that scores and breaks the tie that goes for the 2 points. It's the second guy that catches up. And it'll be in John Cooper's mind what he's going to use.
Williams. They don't give it to him. They stop him a foot from the goal line. Well, it took 2 plays to get their 2-point earlier. And where's the old law of averages surface here?
Well, they're not in yet. Let's wait till they get in. But if they do, then he's going to have to make a decision.
Second down, about the length of the ball, as you can see. Very close.
The
hallelujah land here.
Well, let's see if they get in.
This is Harris, and he walks in. Then Dejas comes on with a kicking tee.
The only reason you don't go for 2 is because you feel there's enough time left in the game that you can still go back down and win it. Obviously, with 4 minutes and 55 seconds, John Cooper feels like there's enough time to win it with a field goal or another touchdown.
And I think he may have the feeling down on the field that Nebraska may be wilting a bit of the heat. We'll check with Mike Adamle on that in just a moment. First, the kick. It's good. So you've got 4 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the game. And we are tied one more time at 28. Here we go now. Cornhuskers deep to receive with Ken Clark and Dana Brinson. And Allen Zendehos to kick it off. 28 tie, 4:55 to go in the ball game. The Sugar Bowl champions and the Rose Bowl champions having at it on a hot afternoon in Tempe, Arizona. Strong kickoff. Back to the 2. Brinson. Penalty flags fly as he comes back to about the 29. Here comes the call. Holding Nebraska. Making mistakes. Mike Adamle, do you sense that Nebraska might be getting a little tired in the heat?
Well, Keith, I don't know if it's the heat or not, but if there's any indication, you know, for the first 3 quarters, most of the players were up on the sidelines watching the game. As the third quarter wound down to a close, and now in the fourth quarter, some of the players, several of the players have slumped onto the bench and perhaps are feeling a little bit of that fatigue. So I think your theory that Coach Cooper not going for the 2 points because he felt he might get the ball back in a hurry has some validity.
It's first down as they now must go from their own 18-yard line, and Steve Taylor gives the ball off to Keith Jones, and Jones is up across the 25 and keeps on pounding to the 30. That's a 12-yard gain for Keith Jones.
You talk about playing in this heat, and it is very hot. There's no question about it, but it's much tougher to play in the heat than it is in the cold, the extreme cold. Playing in the extreme cold, it's a mental adjustment. Playing in the extreme heat is physical. It takes it out of you physically, and there's really nothing you can do about it mentally if it's physically, it's not there.
So the Huskers pick up a first down and have some room now at the 30. Taylor goes back to Jones. Big block on the left side. Keith breaks it big. He's on his way. It is a foot race to the end zone. And closing and getting him, knocking him out of bounds is Anthony Parker. He knocked him out at the 8-yard line, and that is a huge, huge play for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
I tell you, it goes back and speaks well for Tom Osborne and his program, the solid foundation that he has built. No panic, no rush. Let's just go out, do the things, execute. We've got big plays, skilled people, get them the ball, and we'll get something done. 62 yards, Keith Jones.
And suddenly the Huskers are knocking on the door again. You see why Jones is so hard to catch. First and goal at the 8. Jones out right now to get a breather, obviously, with Tyrese Knox in the power I. And Knox knocks his way to the 4. And he runs into Bernard Jones. Tyrese Knox is a 5'10", 215-pound junior from Daly City, and he is a tough runner.
Depth in that offensive backfield. As you take a look at Knox, is coming into play here today.
Second down and goal from the 3. Taylor keeps it. Touchdown. So Keith Jones breaks 62 yards. The Huskers take 2 plays from first and goal at the 8, and they're back into the lead. Nebraska's rushing attack today, Bob, 355 yards on 48 carries.
No panic. Take the ball right down and score. Nebraska, as we mentioned, the highest scoring offensive unit in the country, averaging 49 points a game.
They go for 1. Drennan to kick it. Snap was low, but it is handled by Blakeman, and the kick is right through. And 3 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the football game. It's Nebraska by 7, 35-28. Find out if the Sun Devil offense has one more bolt of lightning. Here, all you need to know. It's been that kind of a ball game to this point. Anthony Parker and Vic Cahoon are deep. Chris Drennan's going to kick it off. And they've been swapping touchdowns here in the second half. It was 14-6 at halftime. Out of the end zone, it's Parker. And he's back to the 22. Toward the conclusion of today's game, we'll continue a 17-year tradition, select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each of the teams, with Chevrolet donating a $1,000 scholarship in the players' names at their own 22, trailing by 7 points, 35-28. Ford is 12 out of 26 for 167 yards and an interception. This is Darrell Harris popping to the outside and picking up an Arizona State first down up at the 35-yard line. Game running a little long today. Been a little more deliberate about things because of the heat. So you can look at the scores of the top 20 teams. There's one game that ended in tie, the other one being Auburn and Tennessee. And Miami just pounding Arkansas. Wow. Michigan State losing to Florida State. Clemson won comfortably. Michigan won big. And so is Florida winning big. First down for the Sun Devils. Their own 35. Ford back on first down. A little quick to the pitch to the sideline. Good for 9 yards. Up to the 44 to Chris Garrett, the junior out of St. Paul, Minnesota. And the clock shows now as he goes out of bounds, stopping it, 3:09. Darrell Harris in the ball game, incidentally. 26 carries, 110 yards. Three ties for the day, huh?
You're looking for those ties, aren't you?
Oh, I'm lobbying just as hard as I can for a tiebreaker. Second down and 1. Fullback, big play for Williams. He almost popped it. My goodness. If Steve Force doesn't get a piece of him going by, he might still be running. Another first down for the Sun Devils.
Well, let's take a look at those two guards we mentioned. Randall McDaniel getting a key block. McDaniel and Kalis have been very active in that offensive line today. Most of the running plays straight at that Nebraska front line.
Ball is on the Husker 47 now. First down for the Sun Devils. Ford on first down to throw it to the sidelines, and it's thrown short in front of Aaron Cox. He had him, didn't hit him. 2 minutes and 46 seconds to play in the game. San Diego State bouncing back to lead at halftime against Oregon. Pitt beat West Virginia in their annual knuckle buster. A&M won again today, and so did North Carolina. Syracuse had to come late to beat the Hokies. Army's wishbone. Second down and 10, Arizona State. Ford all day. Loops it to the sidelines and throws it right into the arms of Steve Forch, the linebacker, covering the intended receiver. And so the young quarterback, Daniel Ford, looking all the way at Darrell Harris, throws a perfect strike to Steve Forch.
It was a poor decision. Forch is right there. Had us stop a drive quicker than anything. Forch is right here. He's going to cover the back as the back comes out and goes up. Forch has got him man-to-man the entire way. Checks through. Got my man. I'm going to cover him. Should have thrown the ball somewhere else. Now, in practice, this may have been open. And sometimes, as a quarterback, you say, it's open in practice. I'm not even going to look. I'm going to throw it. You've got to look every time you call a play.
Now the Huskers, 2 minutes and 38 seconds, going to try to run it out as Dana Brinson carries and is knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That's a pickup of about 5 yards from the 31. So there's Big Steve Forch with a look what I found moment for the Cornhuskers.
Forch just brings up the point about the depth of that linebacking core. He is not a starter. Welniak is the starter, and Forch got in there and made a big play, maybe win the ball game for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Both teams 2 timeouts remaining. 2:33 time remaining. Tailback, Jones. And Jones had the big play in the ball game, that 62-yard sprint. That opened the door for the go-ahead touchdown. Now the clock is running, and Arizona State's going to have to spend its timeouts in order to keep Nebraska from sitting on the ball. It's 3rd down, and it's very close. About a half a yard. The referee stops it for a moment as one of the Cornhuskers, I suppose it was, asked for a measurement to know just exactly how far it is. Our MVPs of today's ball game. It's close. That's short. We'll announce for you in just a moment. 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Now they wind the clock. Steve Taylor of Nebraska, Randall McDaniel, the MVPs, each university getting $1,000 for its general scholarship fund. And the names of those players from Chevrolet. Dive for the first down by Steve Taylor, and he's got it. He just fell right in behind Keeler, Young, and McCormick. Nichols, I guess it is, in there now at center. John Nichols, senior out of Littleton, Colorado.
To this point, the Nebraska rush has been 365 yards. They came in averaging 316 yards, and it's about their average. Last year they were 305, so Steve Taylor, although he made a couple of mistakes in the second half in dropping the ball, certainly has played a big part in that rushing offense.
Our spotter, Todd Barry, as usual, and our statistician, as usual, Dave Burnson. And it's Nebraska first down out near the 42. All they have to do now is run out the clock. And that's all they have in mind as Micah Heibel carries the ball, rolls around on the ground. Now it's up to Arizona State to stop it as we pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
In the hunt for the Pac-10 championship and the Rose Bowl.
Nebraska, Oklahoma almost surely will play for the Big 8 championship. Taylor holding on to the ball. All he wants to do now is keep the ball, keep it as safe as possible, and Arizona State calls its last timeout, stopping the clock about 1:19. That's all there is left, and no more timeouts for them. Timeouts for the Sun Devils, and now Nebraska is going to take a timeout. We're swapping timeouts. They have 1 remaining, but they have a 7-point lead. Today's ABC Sports exclusive. Third down. Taylor wants to throw it, does, down the middle, and I thought surely we might have a flag as Todd Milliken was in a wrestling match with Anthony Parker, but no flag on it.
How about that call, huh? Tom Osborne.
Yeah.
I thought he was just going to run the ball, punt it away. Look at the top of your screen. The man's going to be wide open. And the throw is right where it should be. Just a nice defensive play as the linebackers were blitzing. The defensive backs were on their own. This is the last chance for the Sun Devils to run something back. They led the nation in punt returns last year.
Yeah, 4th down at 1:15 and no timeouts remaining. That's a high snap and a lot of pressure and no penalty flag as the heat was on, and a fair catch is called back at the 23. Well, I don't know. I felt Nebraska might be able to wedge it out and hold on to it and run out the clock, but they were not able to do it.
Well, instead of the return, they went for the punt. The man there trying to block it has his hands too high. You want to go when the ball leaves his foot, not for 6 or 7 feet in the air. Osborne has had a great career. He's averaged 9 or more wins every year. This is his 15th year. He's never been out of the top 10. He's got a solid foundation, and he's done an outstanding job.
He's got 1 minute and 8 seconds to worry, though, as Ford looks to throw out of the shotgun. Throws underneath to the sideline, and the Arizona State man fell down making the catch, Darrell Harris, and he kept the clock rolling. He did not get out of bounds. He tried to roll out, but the clock is running, and they have no timeout. Now it's 48 seconds. Oh, was that expensive? Ford's pass down the middle. It is good to Tony Johnson. And that's a first down for Arizona State up at the 47-yard line. That stops the clock until they have placed it. As soon as the ball is in place and the chains are in place, the referee will wind it. 38 seconds. Ain't over till it's over. Good protection. Throws it into the ground. Ball slid right out of his hands, looked like, unless possibly Neil Smith got a hand on it, but I thought he just lost control of it.
You got 30 seconds left and no way to stop the clock. You're going to have to look to go downfield. If you make a first down, you may stop the clock for a while. If you keep completing the ball, you probably got 2 or 3 more plays left if you don't get out of bounds with it. Go straight down the field with your best receiver and go one-on-one.
Fox is going down the sidelines. Johnson over on the near side, and it's now academic as the ball was knocked loose, rolling loose. Neil Smith hit him, but the Sun Devils cover it with Channing Williams getting on the ball. And the ball is now marked all the way back at the 44. 9 seconds. Batted down. Now you're looking at your last guess. 4th down. And the ball is on the Arizona State 44.
All you've got left here is send your best receiver right there, 84, Cox, straight down the field and hope he's going to make a play.
Well, you also you want fresh leg, too. I guess he just simply doesn't have anybody. He's played everybody in the ball game, so there probably aren't any sprinter fresh legs. But he's gone trips to the top of the picture. 3 wide receivers, and here they go. And here goes the ball, and it is picked off. Intercepted at the 41-yard line of Nebraska, and there's 1 tick still showing on the game clock. 1 second, and now it is over, as Nebraska is going to win it by a score of 35 to 28. Now the Huskers need only 1 more snap.
Well, Brian Washington made the interception, and it was a key play. Obviously, I think the Nebraska Cornhuskers had the game in tow, but big play people come to the front when you have the game on the line, and Washington certainly made a big interception.
So the 4th largest crowd in ASU history will start to go home now, 71,264. But they saw a good one. Tomorrow, ABC Sports Ryder Cup coverage continues from Dublin, Ohio. Then it's tennis greats and celebrities at the Meta Tennis Festival, beginning at 12:30.